this computer. Okay, this is Alex S. Johnson, aka Kandy Fontaine. I run Nocturnicorn Books, a collective, Paul. And all I'm going to say is, I'm extremely fortunate, honored to be in the virtual presence of none other than Militia VOX, the lead singer of none other than Judas Priestess. Um, a woman with an amazing range. I believe you have a 4 octave range. You're an actress. You've done all kinds of stuff in addition. So you're kind of a polymath genius of sorts. And you started out, I believe. Let's I was watching one of the interviews you talked about like being a kind of a child a piano prodigy. So how did you get into playing the piano?
Um, well, I love that you did your research. So I appreciate an active journalist,
Yeah,
because there's a lot of lazy journalists out there.
right.
So I appreciate that very much. I started on piano when I was 8, uh, because like my best friend was playing piano, and I was like, oh well, I want to play piano too. Like I want
Right, right,
to. So we just started like kind of doing it together, and then she kind of lost interest, and I just like excelled very quickly.
right.
Um, and then music became a thing that was my best friend, like going
Right.
forward in my whole life. I was like, oh, this is something that I can carry with me forever. And my relationship with music got very intense very quickly because I was enrolled in like a competitive piano
Oh,
situation.
wow.
I didn't even know it. My teacher
Yeah.
was very much into like what's something called guild. It's
Okay.
something that only classical people would know and
Yeah.
understand,
Yeah.
but they make regionally, I think it's just in the US. I'm not sure if it's broader than that, but regionally, people compete in piano like on an annual basis.
Yeah.
I had to do guild exams every year.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was more than just learning to play piano.
Yeah.
So because of that, it pushed me to develop even faster.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I'm winning, regional and state competitions, and then like was considered one of the best uh, young pianists in the country.
Far
And I
out.
just excelled very quickly. And then as I started getting older, I wanted more freedom with it. I wanted to like make it
Hmm.
more my own and give a more dramatic performance, and they
Yeah.
didn't do that at all.
So,
Um,
you and Gaga, right? Like, and also Queen, right? Right? Why am I blanking? My dad loves him. Queen. But now that Queen. What the fuck?
Freddie Mercury.
You have Freddie
Freddie,
Mercury, right? And then you got
was like
like
one of my idols. So
Bowie.
that was a thing that worked like in tandem for me,
Exactly.
where like, oh, I got tired of playing like dead composers' music
Uh-huh.
and not being able to create more, because when I was trying to bring more of myself to the performance, I was getting like marked for it.
Yeah.
Criticism.
Really?
And some of the powers that be in the classical circles would say things like, she plays too loudly, she bangs on the piano, was something that
Wait,
I
wait,
thought
wait,
that
wait just a fucking second. So, have they never heard of like Frederick fucking Chopin
I know.
or
Well, I
or
was
you know
raised Japan,
or
it's
Jerry Lee Lewis for that matter,
well,
right?
those two paths do not meet in the classical world, so they weren't into that intersection. I
Yeah.
got criticized for sitting on the bench incorrectly,
Oh.
because sometimes I would side saddle and they didn't like that.
But there was like the guy it was if it wasn't it was Franz Liszt. You know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about, right? Franz Liszt would literally like girls would throw their panties at him.
Yeah,
He was the first rock star. He played loud, man.
yeah.
He didn't fuck around.
Well, they didn't take to me fucking around, so and they penalized me often, and I was just like, you know what, like, I'm out of here,
Right?
So by the time I got to music conservatory,
Hmm.
college, I got there and they were like, we have nothing left to teach you. Like you're already like way above what we're doing
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I guess I'm playing for fun now.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that's what I did. It helped me what ended up being me learning to like write and create my own music.
Wow,
But
nice.
I didn't grow up around any musicians. I didn't know anybody who was writing music, making music, in a band, performing, like anything. I was like playing in malls as a child,
Uh-huh.
just like for Christmas I would play the Christmas
Right.
in my school,
Yeah.
and the choir would sing. And then I started arranging choral arrangements and stuff like that for fun. And and
Were you in like
then I was like,
I was in I'm sorry, I was in Glee Club. Were you ever in like Glee Club?
we didn't have Glee
You
Club
didn't
because
have Glee Club.
I went to Catholic school,
Oh
so
wow.
everything was like super rooted in like Catholicism and choirs.
Oh wow.
It was not for fun. Like you couldn't sing something like a pop song for fun.
Oh
They saw
nice.
it as like
Yeah.
disrespectful.
No.
Yeah. So anytime I try to instill an element of fun
Mhm.
musically, it's usually shot down.
Okay. Shot down
Okay.
in flames.
Yeah,
Sorry.
totally. And
I had to
I
you know
get it. Yeah. When I
I
was
had to circle Brian Johnson in there, because
sure.
right or yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, yeah.
As I should. So
Yeah.
like eighth grade, I did a performance art piece in a talent show that really was like kind of mind blowing for
Mhm.
everybody because I recruited my friends. We did this like weird art performance that I
Nice.
had.
Yeah.
We painted our faces black and white, and we
Yeah.
were in like shredded tuxedo jackets.
Nice.
And it was a very like industrial song. Did you? This is so funny. I'm dating myself, but did you ever see the movie Beaches?
Yes, I did.
Okay, do
I've
you know
watched that movie.
the weird scene where she's doing like performance art
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
she sings the song "Oh Industry" and she's got the top hat on and
Yeah.
she's smoking? It
Yeah.
was that song.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I choreographed this piece to it and I sang and
Nice.
everybody was like, "This is so weird. It's really good, but it's so weird. Like, what are you
Yeah. Well,
you know?"
it's like I have a friend. Well, we used to be friends. Things shit happened, right? But her name is Carrie Lee Chrome, right? Carrie Lee Mitchell, aka Carrie Lee Chrome, right? She founded a little band called the Runaways back in the day, right?
Heard of them.
And yeah, you heard of them. They were okay, right? And when I watched the movie, I was like, wow, this is really cool because first of all, and also you've done Bowie covers and such, but the whole kind of like glam sort of, I mean, Carrie is like really into some Bowie, and that kind of like you've got the gender bending thing, you've got like the multi-genre thing. So I'm really, later I want to talk about that, but please continue. So I think it's really cool. Oh, the scene where Sherry Curry is sort of like she does this the Bowie karaoke, and then she's like,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah. That
right.
was me essentially doing whatever I could do. But I was just like, I was always felt like I was like having to fight and rebel. Like it just
Yeah.
always this is when like this was like my villain arc because like I started a strong sense of like I can't fit in here, so I'm just gonna go in the other direction.
You lean into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for
So it's like
sure.
if you guys are gonna make me feel like I'm doing things wrong, I'm just gonna go for
Right.
further. You
Hey,
know.
hey, I'm sorry, I keep because I'm neurodivergent as fuck.
Oh,
So,
cool.
I got a lot of ND friends, and
Uh-huh.
so I had Michelle Sanchez. Do you know Michelle Sanchez?
No.
She's like the Selena of punk rock, and she's incredible. Look her up, Michelle Sanchez. You'll love her. She's really, really awesome, and we become like pals. And she said, Alex, you got to check out this band. You know, the what is it? Amel and the Sniffers, right? Amel and the Sniffers,
Oh, Nail and the
right?
Sniffers. Love them. Yeah.
And it was like, and so ever since, like Michelle. nobody told me about Amyl and the Sniffers, and it's like whenever, I do something that people, scold me for or say, I think you should not be doing that, right?
Yeah,
Because
great song.
that's a great
Yeah,
song. Anyway,
I lived
please.
it too.
Yes,
I lived
I
that very
know, I
much
know.
so. Like I related to it so much. I was like, everybody told me I shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
Everybody, literally, family, friends, strangers, everybody.
People come up to you off the street, people who
Yeah.
otherwise have no like opinion that's worth listening to, that are scraped off the sidewalk. They're like, you should not be doing that.
Yeah,
Right?
totally. Like I when I first got introduced to metal properly, I had already been listening to progressive rock. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
kind of like it started germinating really that I preferred heavier sounds. And my dad is an avid record collector and he would like send me to my room and be
Oh
like, "You're a
nice.
daughter and you're gonna listen to King Crimson." And so
Yes.
like yeah, so I'd go to my room and like lay on the floor and just try to figure out like how did these people meet each other? How did they write this stuff? Like, where are they? How are they putting this? How do they know what sounds to choose? What notes to choose? I was really like trying to figure out how they did the thing because I grew up around no musicians. I grew up
Right.
in like Maryland, like in the middle of like what was a horse farm, So it was like I didn't know.
Oh wow.
Uh, I just didn't know how musicians met. And then I would see like the Grammy Awards on TV and I'd
Hmm.
see a room full of musicians and I'd go
Yeah,
like, where are you? Like I need to be there. Like, how do I do
exactly.
this? Yeah. So like it was funny. My first rock concert was Duran Duran.
Oh wow.
And 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 I was a kid, so my parents had to take me, right? And so I was standing on the chair and I was screaming at them and embarrassing the hell out of my parents and screaming at the band, "I'm one of you! Take
Aw.
me with you!" And my parents were like, "Sit down." And I was like, "No, no, no, I need to be where they are." Like, it was crazy, but it was true. I just knew at a very young age that like that was the herd that I was going to run with. I just
Yeah.
didn't know anybody yet.
It's
So,
like people used to want to run off and be with the circus, right?
right.
Right.
Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
Different
So,
circus.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I actually like I'm huge into prog, and I know my
Yeah.
partner
Love it.
Aaliyah, Celeste Williams, aka Pickles. Shout out to Pickles, over there in Michigan, in Monroe, Michigan. And but yeah, like bands like I've interviewed Claudia Simonetti from Goblin, and I'm a
Cool.
huge fan of she's a huge fan of Tull, and so shout out to Pickles.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, what was it about? I want to get into some of this stuff, really kind of wonky stuff. So, like when
It's
a
all
music, what?
I said it's all wonky.
It's all wonky, right?
Yeah.
It's all good. But when you're talking about like listening to a song, you're very well known for your cover songs and working with
Which is
living.
wild. I only started doing cover songs
Yeah,
because my original music wasn't getting the attention that I wanted it to.
yeah,
That
interesting.
was really the only reason why I was doing covers.
Yeah,
Like my original band, which I loved my first original bands. Well, that's actually not true. Let me backtrack because my first band, Disciples of Astroth, did get a lot of attention. I mean, we used to sell out. We played in Boston, and we'd sell out every night that we played. I mean, it was like very popular, but it was very localized
that's a
because we
great
only got out
that's a
of
great
Boston
name.
once.
What? What?
We
That's a
played New York once, and we played the Batcave in
oh
like the
wow.
early 2000s.
Again, not to, I've had like a 30-year career doing this stuff. One of the people that we work with, we published original work by, is none other than David J. Haskins from
Mhm.
Bauhaus, the guy who wrote Bela Lugosi's
Oh yes,
Dead,
I
right?
know.
I know and we also work with Jerbo,
Uh-huh.
right? So, my heart is full with goth, with industrial metal. It's
Oh, they're
all
so
good.
inter. They're
Yeah, right?
so they're pen pals. They're bosom buddies. They are
Right.
like it's just two halves of the same whole. Like it's literally goes together.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there's not more gothic metal bands, honestly.
Right.
Like it's
Exactly.
they're like they're twins as far as
So
I'm
so exactly. And Disciples of Astaroth.
they're
Obviously
super goth.
Astaroth, the goddess who's closely connected with, fertility rituals and and also it's a really, really interesting connection between uh you know the occult and it's like sigil magic and chaos magic and sex magic
It was all of
and it's
that. All
all of that. So so
was. It was
one
a
of
special time because
one
like
of
that was my first band, and my mind was blown when they asked me to join. Oh, let me see.
I,
Yeah.
w I wish I'd known. I've actually used your your photo to promote this book because we had like everybody from Ann Magnuson to Poppy Z Bright to Caitlin R. Kiernan to we had interviews with Tony Zanetta and literal we have literal David J. Haskins in this
Cool.
book. So
Awesome.
it's a tribute to Bowie.
I love I love that. It's funny. When I was growing up, I did see. I mean, at the time, I mean, my favorite band was Nine Inch Nails. I mean, that was. I mean, it still kind of is. But I was so immersed in like club culture at the
Mhm.
time, in the late '90s, and but I was new. I mean, I was super green.
Mhm.
Um, I never imagined that I would be in a band. Like, I was like, how do you even be in a band? Like, how do you get picked? How do you meet your
How to get picked.
how do you even have a group vision? Like, how do you even do that? And then my boyfriend at the time, he was putting a band together and he was like, oh, do you want to come sing in our band? He goes, can you cry on command? Like, you're an actor. Can you cry on command? I was like,
Yeah.
I guess so. He was like, can you sing this like sad gothy line? He's like, it's kind of like Red Water by Typo Negative.
Yeah.
Like, what's Typo Negative? And like, I went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, totally.
And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Right? Like I was just like, this is unbelievable. They were like, oh, do you want to come be in the band?
Yeah.
I was like, like I was like,
Right.
be in the band. I was like, yes, you want me to be in your band? Like I was
Yeah.
so mind blown. And then at my school, I went to Boston Conservatory at Berkeley. At my school, nobody else was in a band outside of school.
Wow.
And I caught holy hell for being like the one person that was in a band because they made it seem like I didn't take what they were teaching me seriously.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's counterintuitive because I would
Yeah.
imagine that they would encourage people,
No,
but then again, didn't Gaga go to like Juilliard or something,
I
and
don't know
people
where she
would
went.
like, what?
I don't know where she went, but
Okay,
well, the thing about Juilliard is like everything is divided. It's still divided. You can
right.
only take theater, like drama,
Hmm.
or you take music,
I
or
didn't
you
know
take
that.
dance. You can't
Okay,
like intersect them. It
yeah,
might be different now, but that's how it was when I was coming up. So I
right.
didn't go there because of that. But like I mean, I was kind of like I went to Boston Conservatory at Berkeley because they were making like performer assassins because you had to be good at everything.
Oh
You
wow,
had to
cool.
sing,
Yeah,
you had to act, you had to tap, you had to do ballet, you had to do jazz. Like it was like you had to do everything. And then you had to sing in front of your class every day. I mean, people
nice.
were having full tilt meltdowns on a daily basis
Wow.
because the pressure of everything.
Yeah,
And I was like, sure, I'll do that and be in a band
yeah.
and like, go dance on Lansdowne Street for fun and make money. Like I was just
Nice,
like,
nice.
money. Yeah. And when we did the band, we made an album, and then we got noticed by Cleopatra
Oh
Records.
wow, yeah.
They were supposed to they we signed this deal with them to do a song for the Dead Can Dance tribute album.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we have the last track on the Dead Can Dance tribute album.
Nice.
They cut like we had done this very elaborate, like moody intro. They cut the whole thing without asking us.
Oh
And
wow.
we were just like, our mind was blown. And then they like shelved our record. So we were
That's
just like, oh, guess
oh
we're done.
man.
Yeah, because we have a full length album called Embrace the Empty. and it was very typo meets like my life with the thrill kill cult.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, more recently, I became friends with Charles Levy. So
Like, oh,
I'm really like he's really awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
He seems cool. But
Yeah.
so like after the band broke up, I was like, oh well, I'm not done making music. Um, so we came to New York and we just started like experimenting, and then I got in this shock rock band.
Shock
Um,
rock, like Alice Cooper, like or Marilyn Manson or
yeah,
that kind of thing. Yeah, wow.
yeah, but like a bit more extreme.
A bit more extreme than
Yeah, because the singer
Marilyn Manson.
performance art.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
the singer was a performance artist. We were featured on Real Sex on HBO.
Oh, fuck.
My mom called me crying. She saw it. She's like, "Oh my God, you guys are on Real Sex, and you guys are like doing all this crazy stuff on stage." And I was like, "Well, what are you doing watching Real Sex, Mom?"
Right. Hello.
It's really
I had Nina Hartley on like a month ago.
uh
Right? Like, so, I'm not a foreigner to, I mean, she's really fucking cool, man. She's
yeah,
really, really warm, friendly, and ethical,
uh-huh.
I think that's
Well,
great.
performance artists are like they
Yeah.
actually have something to say, but I find that in New York, performance art and music is also like sister friends. They're very like this. There's a lot of
Sister friends.
friends. There's a lot of like performance artists here that are also in bands or
Oh,
they're
I
musical.
see. Okay. I thought you meant sister friends, like sister friends, like sister friends. But,
Like they're
that
like the twinsies,
the
they go to
twinsies.
yeah. A
That's
lot of
really
drag
neat.
performers a lot of drag performers are also performance artists here.
Yeah,
Like it just
that's so beautiful. I mean,
Mhm.
like, yeah, I mean, I just I try to I tell myself like, Alex, don't talk about what you do, but you know, our ecosystems, like, one of my friends that I've had, on the show, Tony Zanetta, he was in Pork by Andy Warhol. He played Andy Warhol, right?
uh-huh. Well,
And I had Peaches Christ on the show. So
I know that because
Joshua
yeah,
Grinnell, right? So, and like, shout out
legendary.
to Peaches, right? This is
Yeah.
really
The
beautiful.
original pieces.
The
Mhm.
original Peaches. I right. I love drag. I love, the whole kind of like, it's a huge deal. Oh, but also Bibi Hansen is a friend of mine, the Andy Warhol superstar, and she does a band where she does, male drag.
Mhm.
So
Well,
this,
my first band, Disciples of Astaroth, was a co-singer band. So there
mhm,
was two. It was me and a guy,
mhm.
Britt the Unholy was
Oh
his
wow.
name, um, and he did drag, but
Nice.
he didn't do drag. He did like dark drag.
Dark drag.
This
What's
is
dark drag?
way before Sharon Needles and like Alaska Thunderfuck and these drag queens from like the RuPaul era of
Right.
like this is before that. He was doing dark drag to like Ministry.
Nice.
Yeah. And like n- all the other drag queens were kind of uncomfortable
Why?
because like it was pretty wicked and he
Wait a
would
minute.
wear
Wait a
horn.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait to back up the fucking truck. So within drag, which is already hugely marginalized, which comes out of like, black people and and sort of fighting against, in resistance to being marginalized. And you're saying that within that community, you have people who are trying to gatekeep against darkness. W-
It
Could
was
you?
very much like the like they call them the beauty queens.
Uh-huh.
Were against anyone who was not a beauty queen. Like if you didn't
Oh,
look
I see.
glamorous on stage and you were doing something that was kind of I mean, Britt was kind of the only one that was doing dark drag in Boston at the time. Like
Dark drag. I
yeah,
gotta write this down.
yeah.
A
It was
dark
a whole
drag.
thing and like I did some drag performances with him. We marched
Nice.
in Gay Pride together in
Yeah,
Boston.
hells yeah.
Stuff together. Yeah. And it was wild because, he'd be marginalized in the drag community sometimes because of how dark his performances were.
Well,
And then
how dark are we
little
talking,
by
militia?
slowly, other drag queens started doing more dark.
Okay, yeah,
Like
exactly.
there was a drag queen named Belinda Davenport who lived in Beverly, like where the Salem witch trials actually
Oh,
occurred.
weird.
And
Okay.
like Belinda would do her performances to like deicide.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I actually interviewed Glenn Benton for, for my magazine Juggernaut.
Cool.
Jug Juggernaut is
Cool.
over here. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah. So like that was I basically was raised by drag queens when I
That's
started learning how
it's
to
interesting.
yeah.
You and
They
and
were the
and
ones who showed me like, you have to have a look, you have to have an aesthetic, you have to have something to offer, like in the performance. This is how you do your makeup, like show makeup.
that's so
This is how
cool.
you get your glitter to stay on. This,
Yeah.
it was like this is how you should up your look or magnify who you are
That's
on
really
stage.
really interesting because I've got some more friends. That shout out to Iris Berry and Pleasant Gaiman,
Mhm.
and they got their start. I mean, like Iris was practically like, when she moved out from Pacoima, she was living in this, kind of like working class, area of South Los Angeles, right? And there was just like nothing. And so she was like, I'm gonna move to Hollywood, I'm gonna be a stripper. And then she wound up being a rock star instead. And she moved in with Pleasant Gaiman and they started, Disgraced Land, right? They talk a lot about how like their ecosystem was full of like drag queens.
Yeah. Well, I was always performing around drag queens and trans people. Like that was so
Yeah.
the lifestyle. Belinda Davenport was trans,
Hmm.
would share a dressing room, and I saw all the things.
Yeah, so all the
Like,
things. Yeah.
so I was just so used to it. Like so, I mean, my that band Vulgaris, our drummer was trans.
Nice.
That was like I was so used to incorporating like drag queens and trans people into our band situation. It was just like very normalized. Like it was like it was weird for me to find people that didn't find that normal. Like I was like, why wouldn't that be
Why
normal?
wouldn't that be normal? Right.
They
And,
have the
and
most to say, I feel
they
like.
have the most to say, exactly. And I think it's fascinating because initially when I first heard about you, I was actually your stuff popped up as Judas Priestess,
Mhm.
popped up algorithmically on my YouTube feed because I curate these literary tributes to various bands. Like we did Bauhaus, you know um we did Black Sabbath. We're working on some Maiden stuff, and of course Hellbent for Leather, a literary tribute to Judas Priest. And you know um hell for degrees. and
Mhm.
and so that was initially how you got on my radar. And then I started looking, well, wait a minute, you've done, you even did a Tina Turner cover. You've done like cover, you did Ace of Spades, you did all this stuff. And so I start to see that, and you're also an actress, and
Mhm.
that your scope is not limited to what you're best known for at this as
Yeah.
the lead singer of Judas Priestess, which is amazing. So my question to you, Militia, is of all the your wide range and scope of covers you've done, people that you've collaborated with and duetted with, which are just, it's just like a who's list of everybody, you know. And I was also thinking about Halford, how he has never limited himself.
Yeah.
He's done covers of like my parents, who are in their 80s now. They went to school with Joan Baez,
Oh,
right? And
cool.
right, isn't that great? And so Halford, yeah, I mean, I play this over and over. I've even played it for my 86-year-old mom, who says that, she said, "Oh, Judas Priest is serious." And I'm like, "Yeah, right, they're serious." He said, "This one, this is a song that was written by a beautiful woman out in California. Her name is Joan Baez." this is diamonds,
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
so
Yeah.
he makes it metal, but
Yeah.
he's also duetted with Dolly Parton. And
Yeah.
then Dolly Parton, who is very queer adjacent, right? She's very much iconic in the queer community. She did that whole Rockstar album, right?
Yeah.
So could you talk about like first, your versatility in terms of what is the kind of the commonality and the factor that, that makes you decide I'm going to cover this song, that song, or whatever. I'm going to work with these bands. Um, and also what makes Judas Priestess your kind of your home base?
That's interesting. Uh, well, I think desire
Hmm.
is always fuels the flame.
Okay.
Yeah, like I have to have interest in it. I mean, the Tina Turner cover came out because I asked my fans and followers and friends, "What do you want to hear from me?" And they all unanimously said Tina Turner, and I
Yeah,
said,
sure, yeah.
"Okay, of course, that's like obvious, right?"
Yeah.
So, which is my backstory with that. The abridged version is my mom took me to see Tina Turner
Mm.
when I
Oh
was a
wow.
kid in like 1989 or
Hmm.
something like
Yeah.
that. And I looked at her on stage and she's just like sweaty and she's got her leather, the big hair and like teeth
Yeah,
shit. And I was like, I want to do that.
right.
I can do that.
I can do that.
I'm gonna do
Yeah,
that.
I want to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah,
And that was that.
that
So
was
like
it. Yeah.
yeah. And so like, if you can see it, you can be it, So it's like very it was just like, okay, there's one template that I can relate to.
Okay.
But literally, that was it. You didn't see black women in rock music. You didn't see black women in metal, that's for sure.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Even that was a situation where everybody was telling me, like, oh, that's not for you. That's for like white men, you
But
know,
like black women are responsible for heavy metal,
right?
right?
Yeah. So, but like, even in my family, my mother was very apprehensive about me going into heavy music. She was just like,
Really?
she did not get it. She was
What
like,
what
this,
what
she
why
said, this.
why was it wrong for you, Militia?
It was right for me.
I mean, I know, but why was it wrong according to your mom and various people are
Grew
saying,
up in the segregated South.
"Oh, I see. Wow."
Yeah. So it was hard for her to see something that was like presented to her um, and as being a very white male genre. She just didn't understand why I would be attracted to it. And like she was worried that I would be ostracized within it, I
Oh, I
think. And I
see.
think she
Okay.
was worried that I'd be hanging out with the wrong element, maybe, or
Oh,
something like
the
that. She just
wrong.
didn't understand it.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's like Lemmy talks about like, rest in peace. He would always talk about like Little Richard, and it's like, what it must have been like to be gay and black in Macon, Georgia in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm. True. But it's kind of wild because like just because it doesn't exist before, it doesn't mean it can't exist. I mean, that's like
Right.
who cares? And I just couldn't help it. I liked what I liked. And to me, metal is just loud classical in a way. I mean, like you have to be proficient, and you have to have themes musically. Like it's like to me, I just go like, yeah, these are so adjacent.
That
You
is that's fascinating because when I was growing up, when I was a sort of misfit in high school, I listened to bands like Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath. I never thought in a million years I would be like sitting across from Bruce Dickinson or like on the phone with Dio or whatever. But the cool kids, the ones who were like going to the proper colleges and such, they listened to new wave, and there's nothing wrong with new wave. I like a bit of new wave, but they was sort of like that My House song and things like that. And it didn't even seem like they were kind of excited about music. Whereas
uh-huh.
the misfits, the outsider kids, were listening to songs like, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, which is a 15-minute adaptation of a poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. So they're getting like a classical English education, while the cool kids are listening to some shit.
Uh-huh.
It's really it's
Well,
kind
it's
of
all opinion
inverted.
based.
What?
It's all about what excites you. So
Yeah.
I don't judge anyone on their music
I
taste.
don't either. I don't
The
either.
only judgment that I have is when people say they don't like music. Then you're
Okay.
suspicious. How do
Then
you not?
then you gotta like, well, are you do you have pulse? Do you have,
Right.
respiration? Is there
Literally, your
cellular,
heartbeat is a
you know?
percussive instrument.
It's like
So
the
I
first
don't know.
the so what do you think inspired music? I mean, this is like a cosmic question. What do because obviously it's been around since people had a rock and they were like thunk 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 thunk. I love you so much. Just mate with me or whatever. I mean, what do you think inspired music?
Um, to give life meaning, really. I think people were
Yeah.
like, this is a way to like spend my time. And like, I think all people kind of have like a forte
Hmm.
in their senses. Like some people are more visual and
Right.
some people are more they're more into like taste, right? And
Hmm.
some people are more cerebral, and then there's some people that are audiophiles.
Yeah.
So I think if the sensory of like hearing things excites you and you're wired that way, it's just like it's an indulgence, right? You're indulging in that sense.
Yeah.
um I've always kind of been turned on by sounds and music,
Hmm.
you know. I'm so envious of people that have synesthesia,
Oh yeah.
because like
Right.
I kind of have like a weird, like, truth be told, I have like kind of a weird erotica feeling with music sometimes,
Okay.
which is really exciting to me, and like it gets me like
Nice.
excited, pumped.
Nice.
But I
Nice.
wish I could see the colors that they see,
Oh
because
yeah,
that
that would be, well, they should invent some either a well,
will.
it already exists. It's called
They do.
acid,
It's
but
called
yeah,
LSD. It
thanks.
exists.
Yes.
Yeah, been
So
there, done that. Yeah.
been down that road, right? So wow.
Oh,
Yes.
but let me go
It,
backtrack onto your
yeah,
question.
please.
Um, because it's kind of amazing because like I did the classical, I did the Disciples of Astaroth was my first step into writing and performing live, even though my first song I wrote at 16 before that band.
Hmm.
So I was just that's funny. I was just in the shower, and I was going through like college acceptance process,
Hmm.
and I had just gotten a letter saying that I had been accepted to Boston Conservatory. I had gotten accepted to basically all my performing arts colleges that I wanted to go to.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to interpret this because I'm kind of dyslexic. But do you have to go pretty soon because you raise your hand or
Oh, no, no, no. I was just talking and gesturing, and
oh,
it,
you were
it
gesturing.
yeah,
Oh, it
yeah,
told me
yeah,
that you this is yeah.
yeah. It's okay.
Okay. Anyway, go
So
for it.
I was getting like college acceptance letters,
Yeah.
and I wanted to get the fuck out of Maryland, even though I love
Right.
Maryland so much. But I knew that my life and creativity depended on meeting other artists and getting away from home.
Right. Yeah.
Um, so I wrote my first song while I was in the shower, waiting for those acceptance letters to come
Oh,
in.
wow.
I wrote a song called "Close to Life," and I ended up sitting on it for like years.
Yeah.
Then after my shock rock band, I started like an original band called Swear in Your Life.
Hmm.
And that song then came out. This was like 2007 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm so bad with years. Yeah, and that was a big deal because it was the first time I was able to like write what I was feeling
Yeah.
truly, and like make the music match what I'm feeling. And
Yeah.
it was a that era where groove metal was popular, so it was a very groove metal
Neat.
band.
Well,
Uh,
how do you define groove metal?
like it's metal, but it has like a pretty intricate bass line that's more
Okay,
like
so like Red Hot Chili Peppers or Rage Against the Machine or
Rage
that
Against
kind
the
of,
Machine,
yeah,
Faith No
definitely.
More. Yeah, like it was very much in that era,
Hmm.
right? And that, I should say. Um, And then after that band kind of was like dying out is when I saw the ad. Well, my boyfriend at the time saw the ad for Judas Priestess,
Wow.
and it was on Craigslist.
Wow.
He was looking for a gig because he was a singer,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, there's this all-girl Judas Priest tribute band starting." And like I had the same thought as like everybody else. I was like, "Oh, what if they suck?" And like I don't know. And he was like, "But what if they don't suck?"
Right?
He's like, "You should at least go and see what's up," because he knew I
Right.
loved the priest. And I was just
Yeah.
like, I was like, "All right, I'll reach out to them."
Yeah.
Sent them an email, and I attached pictures of me with Rob Halford because I had already met Halford
Nice.
at backstage at a priest show
Nice.
and at the Fight movie premiere when it
Oh,
came.
wow.
So I'd already met him
So
twice.
cool.
Yeah. And so they were like, they got that email. And we're like, oh my God, she already met Halford and blah, blah, blah. And it was like,
Yeah.
they were like, look at all she's done. Because at that point, I'd already worked with Dee Snyder and like I'd
Yes.
already
Yes.
worked
Yes.
with them and like all this kind of stuff. And I was a backup singer for celebrities for a while and then decided that I did not want that life anymore. And
Okay. I'm sorry. Self-insert.
oh, yay. Okay. That's awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank goodness for D. That was like a big break for me, you
That's
know.
so how did that happen? And then we'll cycle back to Halford and then Priestess.
Sure. So I sang in a tribute concert to Elton John and Freddie Mercury.
Interesting.
And I sang The Show Must Go On.
Wow.
Big song, right? And this guy John Capadonna, shout out to John Capadonna, excellent drummer, from Almost Queen and other things. They were looking for a girl to be the lead singer of Van Helsing's Curse.
Nice.
John Capadonna said, "Well, there's this one girl that I saw. She's really awesome. You might want to check her out." And they
Yeah.
called me in, and I went to the studio with Joe Franco, and he said, "We really hope you can sing this because we're not seeing anybody else for this."
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I was like, no pressure, right? They were
Right,
like,
right,
but
right.
anyway, it's all in Latin. Here. And I was like, great.
Yeah.
Did it. And they were like, great, you're hired. And that was it.
Nice.
Like,
Nice.
yeah, I'm like, touring with Dee. But it was kind of wild because I had met Dee, sort of met Dee a few years before that because I was at a Twisted Sister show and I jumped onto the stage and I was screaming the Twisted Sister songs into his microphone.
You're
And
so
he
you're
was like, who
so
is this girl?
you're
Like
you're
this
so
scream.
badass.
It was so funny. And then like we were in the dressing room on tour somewhere. And I said, we've met before. And he was like, I said, well, not really. We've been on stage together before.
Wow.
He's like, what? When?
What?
Like
What happened?
on Hills. It was like right after 9/11, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And he was just like, you were the girl that jumped on stage.
Nice, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny. But yeah, that was such a great experience. Dee and I recorded a cover of Cry Little Sister from the Lost Boys soundtrack
That's
together.
so cool. Yeah, I was actually like, oh my God, shut up, Alex. But okay, I'm just gonna lean into it, you know. So there I was. I had just interviewed Jen from the Jenner Torturers,
Oh,
and
Jen.
right,
Nice.
Jen is so badass. And
Mhm.
actually, this was at her. I went down to see her show, which rocked. And you had like, a guy who's being crucified and his lips sewn shut or something like that. And when I got off the bus, I see Jen. She's back when we had phones, she was on the phone and she was complaining that their spanking machine had broken down. Right. And I was like, I
Yes.
have the opening lines for my article. And then, so I was formerly friends with a guy named Ward Bolt, the fetish photographer who was in a relationship with Texas Terry Laird. from Texas Terry, and this, I'm sure you know Texas Terry,
I
right?
know
Who
Texas
doesn't, right?
Terry. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, of
yeah. I
course.
think I still have my Texas Terry lighter.
Shout out to Texas Terry, man. So
Living in Berlin, right? That's
yeah,
awesome.
exactly. She's in Berlin now, which is crazy. And then yeah, so I gotta check back with Texas Terry, Texas T. So yeah, so anyway, so I was at the Rainbow or one of the, one of them, the Troubadour or something, and I was just like with I think it was Tequila Mockingbird.
Mhm.
And I looked down at the bar and I say, "Hey, Tequila, is that Wes Craven?" He was smiling at me for some reason. She said, "I'm pretty sure that's Wes Craven." I was like, "Nice, right?" And then I'm wearing the the, the Jenna Torturers is sort of like that exploitation Nazi exploitation movie with the you know only it's like that, you know what I'm talking about, right? But it's Jen,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And and then I hear this familiar voice saying, "Nice t-shirt." And I turn around, it's Dee Snider, right? I'm like, "Thank you, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister," right?
Yeah.
I felt so rock and roll.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
It really, I was, I mean, the thing about D is that, he's a wild man, but he's got, for him, it's a lot for someone who's done so much to actually self-reflect and then say, I need to step away. So
yeah.
that was really bold of him to
Who
do
who
that.
who is
I
the new singer for Twisted Sister now?
Sebastian Bach.
Who?
Sebastian Bach.
Sebastian Bach, man. Oh man. So Sebastian Bach and Lemmy and was it Bruce Dickinson, right? They did that. I mean, they've done a lot work together, right? I mean,
There's
uh,
definitely a brotherhood
yeah,
between
definitely, definitely. I mean,
that
this
era.
that is crazy. So Sebastian Bach, man, you know, talk about an ecosystem, right? I'm going to shut up in a second, but so there's this MTV or it's a VH1 documentary that was made back in the day, and right, it features my friend and collaborator, and I've performed with her, Iris Berry, and she looks like she's 10, and it's Vince Neil and Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue and Sebastian Bach and Dee Snider, right? And all these guys, right? And it's just kind of crazy how that era was so different. I mean, there was exploitation, but I think it's portrayed differently now than I mean, very few people. I mean, these women were not like dragged into the scene without against their will. I mean, they were like, hey, here we are, man. This
Yeah.
is it's rock and roll.
Well, it's interesting because that's part of the thing that kind of like kept me away from the LA rock
Hmm.
and metal scene was the way women were treated.
Okay, okay.
Um, that like, oh, like you're not the front person, you're the bass player, you're the wife or the
The
girlfriend
other
or
wife, the girlfriend, yeah, or the
you
or
know.
yeah,
And so like I always hated that. So like that was always something that kind of made me go to
right,
LA
yeah,
time in the late 90s, early 2000s because I just I didn't like the struggle, man, out there that was going on. Plus there was
right,
no accessibility for Me Too moments and things like that.
exactly, exactly,
So that's why I came to New York because I felt like I was like, the saying, if someone in New York tells you have a nice day, they mean have a nice day.
right.
Someone tells you in LA have a nice day, it means go fuck yourself.
It's
So
true though. Yeah, it's
like it's
true.
kind of like they just don't
Yeah,
say what they're
they'll
thinking
do it with a
sometimes.
smile, but
Yeah, it's gotten
yeah,
better over time and especially gotten better because of social media and
yeah,
accountability.
yeah,
It wasn't so honest for a while. And also like that music of the 80s, like I love the energy of it. I love the excitement of it. I think that's probably why what attracted me to Halford as a frontman because he came from a different place than the metal bands that were just singing about girls and cars.
yeah,
Is that, priests lyrics and priests overall energy and thematic energy and the statements that they made, the definitive statements about who they were aligned more with who I was. You got
Could
another coming. There's
you're
like
right.
a spirit of rebellion,
Yeah.
uh, but done in such an eloquent way.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
not just like, hey, fuck you, man. It's like literally, it's like, you got another thing coming. Like, it's such a, the lyrics in it, it's a very complex fuck you, is what it is.
Yes.
It's a more detailed, intricate fuck you. It's like, no, 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 I'm struggling and that's why I'm going to go for it.
Right.
You know? So
Right.
it's like, I identified with their struggle and the way that they capture power and the
Hmm.
concept of power. It's so on their,
Interesting.
and so that was something I always identified with as far as the bands. The LA bands, like the Sunset Strip bands, that stuff is fun, but I always felt like I wasn't invited to that party.
Right.
I always felt like I was like, I can't even relate to that, like boobs, bikinis, and beers, backyard concert type thing that was going on in LA.
It's
You
true.
know,
Yeah, it's
like
definitely true. Yeah.
honestly, very it was a very Caucasian take on music. And I was just kind of like, wow, the only girls I see in here are like blondes, pretty much. Like the
You're
only girls I see in
you're
here
not
are
wrong.
used for ornamentation.
Yeah.
Like you don't get into their opinion of what the party is or the music or whatever. Like it was like girls are doing something else and the guys were driving the whole thing. So that fraternity, and it is very much a fraternity, those like LA bands that came out, like good for them. They made some great songs,
Right.
a lot of them. Obviously the party ended in the 90s,
Yes.
and when grunge came out, I felt such a sigh of relief.
Really.
I was like, oh my God, finally, like now there's lyrics that I can relate to. Now there's like real statements being made about like the world, not just like the party. It's like your
Yeah.
place. It's very existential, the stuff that was being written about.
Totally.
So I
Yeah.
identified with that.
Territorial pissings by Nirvana or yeah, a
Like
lot of
I seriously, when
right.
hair metal went the way of the dodo, I was like, relief. Oh my goodness.
Right?
Relief.
Yeah.
It was like when grunge came along, I finally felt like they were speaking English for the first time, and I understood
Interesting.
now.
Right. Yeah, it's really, really, really cool. I want to kind of backtrack about, you're talking about, the elegant fuck you of, you've got another thing coming or whatever. As I remember, first of all, when my first concert was 1982, which dates me, but I was like 15 years old, and I was going to Catholic school at the time, and my debate coach was very down on this. I said, I'm going to have to miss this, this debate, whatever rhetoric thing, because I'm going to see Judas Priest. And instead of like saying, "Oh, yeah, fuck yeah, Judas Priest," he was like, he looked disappointed, like whatever masturbated on his lawn or something. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh,
But because of
you
the band name
poor,
or because of who they were?
because. I don't know. I think that they was just sort of like, you should not be doing that. And so, right, my friends, well, my friends, they were like the prototype for Beavis and Butthead. They even looked like them. One of them had an overbite. They wore those short little short pants, whatever short things, and they were total misfits even among misfits. And they were totally fucking racist and homophobic, and they loved metal, and they especially loved Judas Priest. So we went to the Cow Palace
Just
to
so
see
funny. 'Cause,
with us
yeah.
with those guys, right? And I'm
Uh-huh.
looking around, I'm thinking, because I'm from originally, my parents are from San Francisco and the Bay Area in Palo Alto, and I grew up in Berkeley when I was really young. So, we had a friend named Terry Garthwaite who actually played with Janice and Big Mama Thornton, right? She was one of the original bands that she opened up for Janis Joplin, right? So shout out to Terry Garthwaite. You
Speaking
know,
of Janis Joplin,
yeah, it's amazing. Oh, Janice. Yeah, Jan.
Janis
Oh,
Joplin.
I gotta get a screenshot. I gotta get a screenshot. Oh, that's so beautiful. You're so both so beautiful. It's just incredible. Oh my God. So anyway, I'm looking around and I'm like, well, I'd grown up reading, Allen Ginsberg and William S. Burroughs, and I was like looking around saying, you know, there's a lot of this is San Francisco. There's a lot of like leather and a lot of spikes, and there's there's Halford, and he's got leather and spikes, and he's like singing about like "Eat me alive," and I'm
So
like,
you knew what it was. You knew that that
I
was like
knew what it
a
was.
not so veiled message on his sexuality.
Exactly. And I had actually this was really wild. I was in a long story, but so I knew some people who knew Halford, and they told me about like, yeah, he makes his subs scream, and I'm like, yeah, that I can relate. But anyway, you should
I
not be
mean,
saying
fetish
that.
culture is also another thing that's kind of intertwined with
What, what's
metal, isn't it?
what was that?
Fetish culture is
Fetish culture. Yeah, it's very much.
intertwined with metal and definitely goth industrial, but metal.
Yeah, yeah. And they were, my frenemies, they were always, picking on me, and I just realized we are not the same, I'm digging it. I'm thinking, you know, I'm pretty sure Rob Halford is totally fucking gay. And he's doing something so subversive. He's
Mhm.
got a stadium, he's got an amphitheater, whatever it was, whatever the Cow Palace is, the sound quality was shit, but it's like riding on the wind. I'm shameless. I'm here with literal militia Vox, and I'm trying to do my Halford thing. Right. But it's like,
I
I
appreciate
don't
it.
care. I don't care. He's like, you know, um, Bloodstone, right? And it got super muddy because they didn't have that clarity of signal, you know. And I'm like, I believe you're the devil. And I'm like, yeah, so this is probably talking about some gay as shit relationship. And you know, eat my diamonds, And so I'm
Jawbreaker.
like, oh, jawbreaker, right? Hello. But hey,
My
have
favorite.
you ever done Tyrant? And if not, why not?
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
tire.
of course, you've done Tyrant. So, I just like fucking or Island of Domination from
You
Sad
know,
Wings of Destiny.
I voted to do Island of Domination. The girls shot it down, so we didn't do
Why
it.
why not? It's a
They didn't like that it was so like it's very fragmented. There's like very sectional, right?
yeah.
And they just I don't know, they weren't feeling it. And so we usually vote on what we're doing next, and I lost the vote. So
The Sad Wings, and by the way, the whatever their Halford's label or Priest label is doing something in November, so that it's gonna they're gonna re-release Sad Wings in a sort of a remastered and
well, you
back
know, there's a
catalog kind of way.
movie that's coming out
Yeah,
too.
there's a documentary too, so I'm really really
Right.
fucking excited about that because I may get to at least talk to the Falcon or somebody, Ian Hill. I don't care.
I'm amazed that they didn't ask me to speak on it, but I guess they want to keep it like the uh the OG guard maybe.
The OG guy. But you are I mean, if you're not legitimate, like, uh, fuck the OG guard. If you're not as legitimate, voice of, you collaborated, you duetted with
But I
Halford.
wasn't there.
You
I
were,
wasn't
you were,
alive.
n-
I wasn't there when they
oh,
did their thing.
so,
I
so, yeah, so
related.
tell me about how that came about first, and then, and so you were a Priest fan the first time that you met Halford. What was that like?
I got into Judas Priest way late, so I got into Judas Priest when I was in college.
Yeah.
So you remember the Columbia House where you would like get
Yes.
like CDs for a penny?
Hmm.
So like every time I would do that, I would like throw in like a couple of like wild cards that I just liked the
Yeah.
cover, like the band name, or I liked the look aesthetically, and I was like, oh, let
Right.
me see if I like this. And my wild card album was British Steel, and so I distinctly remember like putting it into the CD player
Uh-huh.
and like, just being like, oh, like, whoa, I'm so glad I got this. Like it was like blew my mind. And then like the lyrics were so poetic. And
Hmm.
I was like, I really was feeling like the whole thing, the delivery, the attitude, the swagger, because Priest has a very specific, unique swagger
Yeah.
to their sound. And I was like, okay, whatever this is, I'm in. So
Yeah.
then that started me on like the deep dive.
Right.
Plus, he was such a killer vocalist.
Yeah.
I would find that sometimes things that I would listen to, even though I liked the music, sometimes I'd be like, oh, I wish the vocals were better.
Right.
You know, this was like, oh, well, all the boxes were checked here.
Yeah,
So I was like, oh,
right.
plus the cover looked so fucking badass with it.
It
Razor.
is.
And I was like, this is, and like Judas Priest is like the greatest band name ever.
Ever,
So,
right? And it actually
yeah,
comes from a Bob Dylan song, right?
yep, yep,
Yeah.
I know. So like, as a former Catholic schoolgirl, I loved that that title.
Right.
Great. Um, so it just like clicked. Um, but when my dude saw the ad for the band and I responded to it, it took a while for them to like, I guess, get ready for me. They were
Hmm.
like rehearsing, like trying to get ready for me, and then finally, uh, we set a meeting time where I could come in and sing some songs with
Hmm.
them.
Yeah.
And like as soon as I walked into the room, we were like, "Oh, this is a wrap! Like this is it! Like
Yeah.
that's my band, and I'm their singer."
Yeah.
And that was before I even sang. Like I just knew. And then so when we started singing, it was all like done.
Right.
Like you didn't have to see anybody else. Like that's it.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Started in the thing, and we're the only all-girl tribute to them. I was kind of like weird about doing a tribute band because I had been so immersed in original songs that like
Yeah.
this was my first tribute, and we just like took off very quickly because we had made some very baseline ground rules about the band. We weren't
Hmm.
going to do anything that was going to be silly or embarrassing. We weren't going to, for us, we weren't going to do anything that was going to be silly and embarrassing for them,
Yeah.
Judas Priest. And we were always going to take it super seriously and that we were going to come out and make a statement that
Right.
we could play this shit just as well as the guys,
Right.
you know? Um, and we always said we would never do Turbo Lover.
I was gonna say, you read my mind.
We would never do Turbo Lover because we didn't because it was the song is so polarizing. At least it
Right.
was at the
Yeah.
and we just didn't want to get like grouped into that. We always wanted to play Priest's heaviest songs. That's
What
the stuff
about
that
what about
was.
Ram It Down? Have you ever done Ram It Down?
We never did Ram It Down. That was one of my suggestions, but like, again, I got like,
Do you remember the whole ad campaign where it's literally like, the planet being fisted,
yeah, well,
right?
yeah,
It's like,
right. So it was such a cool art. It's such cool artwork, though, isn't it? Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, we played so many songs that Priest never played live.
like,
Never Satisfied,
right.
um, uh, Saints in Hell. We were playing, and then like Rob and I talked about he loved watching our videos on YouTube,
Hmm.
and so like I would send him things like, "Oh yeah, we're doing Saints in Hell now" or
Yeah,
whatever. And like my intro for it, I would say like, "Oh, Priest never performed this live, and now they're," and then they started doing it.
yeah,
Ah, I see what you did
yeah,
live, doesn't it? Yeah. So
yeah.
but
So,
we always were pushing the bounce. Oh, we did
right.
Bring on the Tears.
Oh wow,
Here
that's a
come
good one. Yeah, there's a lot of, ballads, and we're not talking about like Kiss, right? We're talking about like I hate Beth. I don't know why. It's sort of like it seems very misogynistic to me,
Oh yeah.
but
I always had like such issues with Kiss,
right,
like
okay.
misogyny.
Right. Yeah, it's sort
Also,
of
not for nothing, like they stole their costume ideas from LaBelle. No one
exactly.
talks about
And then they had the nerve. Well, Dio used to say that, that Gene would like trademark air if he could.
it. Yeah.
But at one point, yeah, so
I mean, I'm not
they
hating on them for being super Jews. I mean, I'm half
they
Jewish. I understand.
okay, yeah.
So it's
I mean, a
like,
lot of my best
if you
friends
can get
are
away with it, cool.
a lot of my best friends are Jewish, Jewish women, but it is like So he actually sued King Diamond for using the makeup, which
No.
yeah, he did.
Oh,
I'm like,
no. That's
oh,
step off the king. You can't do that.
yeah,
Nope.
step off the king, okay? I mean,
Step
can
off
we
the king.
get
Cannot.
would
He's
you
like the nicest guy in the world, too.
he
Nope.
is super sweet. So Kim Bendix Peterson. So have you done or would you do a duet with King?
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. And it's like which song?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, I wouldn't want to do a cover. I would want to do an original with him.
Original with okay.
I feel like not, I mean, not one of his songs. I'd want to do like an original with him.
Write a song with
I mean, that was like the thing with
yeah.
Halford duet
Yeah.
too, was that
Yeah.
like I always assumed I knew I was gonna sing with him eventually. I didn't know
Right.
that that would
Yeah.
happen. I assumed it would be on a Priest thing.
Right.
And then the fact that it wasn't, that it was an original song made it more satisfying.
Yeah.
So
I thought
like, if I
there's
was gonna do a duet with King Diamond, it would have to be on a new song.
a new song. Yeah. I mean, and
To be honest.
he and Dave Grohl and Lemmy and Wino, who actually didn't play on that song, but the Shake Your Blood video, he's got a broken E string, right? Wino. Um, yeah. So anyway, so that that project, the Probot thing, are really another example of how artists such as yourself, Lemmy, Dave, really get, I guess, stereotyped or limited
Yeah.
by fans who are in different camps. And Dave Grohl has collaborated with everybody, right? And we started out literally with Nirvana, right? So, um,
I mean, he could have ended up as just being the drummer from Nirvana,
Nirvana,
but
right?
he's gotten stuck in that. I remember he told this great story about how he was like in Ireland somewhere and he saw some guy walking, like hitchhiking on the side of the road wearing a Nirvana shirt.
Yeah,
He was like, oh crap, like this could be like my legacy is
your
the drummer
legacy, yes,
forever. Like you're gonna see Nirvana shirts for the rest of your life. He was like,
right.
I have to thought to himself, I have to parlay this into something else, and he did. Like the Foo Fighters thing was like, remember he said he had gotten a call from Tom Petty to
Yeah,
come and be the drummer in the Heartbreakers, and he turned it down because he wanted to make his own statement musically,
nice,
what the Foo Fighters did for him.
right.
Uh, and I kind of feel like I'm in a similar situation where it's like, Judas Priestess could be on my fucking tombstone. It's
Yeah,
like I really have to like parlay and do all the things that I want to do.
right.
Um, my original music, and like I'm working on original music right now.
Nice.
I'm doing
I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, and it's
it.
also like with Lem, he started out with the Rockin' Vickers, right? I mean, in like was the 60s, they were as popular or more popular than the Who, right? And then he had Sam Gopal, and then he had I mean, it was years and years of bands before Hawkwind, and
Yeah.
then and then he wanted to call it Bastard. He didn't want to call it Motorhead. That was a suggestion of somebody else, right? And he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I want to call
It was
it
probably a
Bastard."
it was probably a good idea. It was a good idea, but it's a good idea that it was overruled. I was
Right?
know,
Yes, because
honestly, like Lemmy.
Bastard is like a Spinal Tap and puppet show kind of
Yeah.
name. It's Bastard. Remember the film by Penelope Spheris, Decline of Western Civilization Part Two, which of course, which is kind of iconic for various reasons, including, Gene Simmons being a fucking idiot. Sorry, but he is. And then you got Lemmy saying, "Yes, I'm an alcoholic. I'm a Richter, 5 scale on alcoholism, you know, and and um, and then you had Ben Gazzari, who's like creepy as shit, talking about 18-year-old girls, or whatever, and he's like, and I want to introduce to you Odin, 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 Odin. It's like, okay, so bastard would be a kind of like an Odin name,
Would have been swept up into that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. Um, I'm sure you could write like a thesis as to, black female Catholic school girl that, breaks bad and decides that she loves metal and like decides to do a tribute band where the lead singer is like a gay leather daddy metalhead who was
So
not part of that weird,
you need to write a book.
right? And then like, I
Yeah,
mean, honestly, because for me it was always about the music. I didn't
yeah,
care about their lifestyle or my lifestyle was supposed to match that their lifestyle. Like that it has nothing to do with that. Like to me it's always been about the music and what's exciting to me, and that's why I always do different projects because they're exciting to me.
right,
um but I think that part of uh the interest, I guess, is that I've kind of approaching metal from a very ferociously feminine perspective. And it's been very, I've never been the girl that's like, got a groupie mentality. Like I never wanted to fuck those rock stars. I wanted to be, you know,
Terry B. Murphy said exactly the same
yeah,
thing, right?
yeah.
She
Like I
said,
never wanted to fuck them. I only wanted to be them or
right,
be, parallel to them or be in like,
parallel,
as a front person. Um,
right,
and it's been weird because I end up kind of like holding up a mirror in a way because then like there's a lot of people who might come see me or come see Priestess or whatever,
right,
and they never imagined hearing some of their favorite words through like my vessel as a channel as a black female. So
yeah,
it's weird, like projecting back this thing that they love through like an unlikely source.
yeah,
Um, but still enjoying it, right? So
right,
like getting what you need out of it, still capturing the excitement, still making it like super powerful, and
yeah,
then kind of being like playful, like erotically playful with it
yeah, sure.
because the lyrics are suggestive and
Yeah, no shit.
feelings.
Right. I love that the one video it remind me of the song, but you're like, okay, and now I'd like to present our special guest, Rob Halford, and everyone's like, ah, and you're like, no, Rob Halford is nowhere near the building, and then you say, we've got one thing in common. And it's like you go there and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, man. So like let's not be in denial
Right.
what this music is about. I mean, it's a lot of things, but it's about owning your own power and whatever your gender definition or non-definition, or some of my friends are trans, some identify as non-binary, and there's all different kinds of configurations. I think what makes, Priest fans pretty special is we're all different, but and some are still in denial about who they are and what attracts them. I mean, they're just like this, this fucking leather daddy with a
Yeah.
whip, it's like, and and that's your metal god,
Sure. Well,
so
it's like, I mean, obviously, I feel like anyone's job as an artist is to talk about the things that turn them on.
right,
It's like what makes us human, and that's why AI doesn't stand a chance because AI can't get turned on.
yeah,
It's literally you're presenting the things that excite you.
yeah,
That's
it
why
is,
I always like when I'm like AI, I'm like whatever. Like to me,
right,
it's like elevator music.
yeah,
It's not even on my radar. Even though I know some people are using it for whatever they need to use it for. To
yeah.
me, the it's like going to the grocery store and you have the option to buy, heavily pesticide coated food, or you can buy organic food. I'm in the business of organic food, organic music. So
Have you seen that ad, which is just like it grosses me out so much, and it's completely surreal. So it's for Roundup, which is like a deadly toxic, neurotoxic, fucking give you cancer and Parkinson's disease, right? So we're in a supermarket, or no, we're in a like an Amy's or whatever you have there. It's a kind of like a hardware store, right? And you got this hot chick and this a white girl, right? And and she's pulling out bags of like, whatever pesticide or whatever, and she says, "So let's just get this," and you don't even see what the bag is, and it's a completely it's a whatever, I forget the name for it in film vocabulary, but it's like a complete non sequitur shot of a hot macho guy in a garage saying, "I wouldn't." And then, and then she pulls confidently and sort of with a little sexy swagger, she pulls out a bag of Roundup, and from the shelf. And the slogan is Roundup. This stuff works. And I'm like, the misogyny, the complete, it's sort of like, let's cycle back to the era where of the let's go, let's not pass go, let's completely return to the 1950s,
Right.
where the man, we believe, we trust the man because he's a man, and it's a white man in his garage with some toxic stuff that will kill you.
Sure.
This stuff works.
Right.
Anyway, I have to rant.
Yeah. No, I get it. Feeling.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. So when you've got a song, I know you inhabit the songs. You don't just like well, who, I mean, you're talking about AI, right? AI wouldn't be able to conceptualize this kind of thing. But when you're doing a cover song, it's a lot different. Like when I was a kid, I would like do, like I would mix recordings of myself singing, Beyond the Realms of Death in my bathroom or something. And I would try to do the, falsetto thing, and my friends would make fun of me, but they gave me props for at least trying, right? And so, and as you are so embodied, you're so there on stage. And so when you take a song, say Beyond the Realms of Death, which is, in my opinion, a masterpiece, and it's very subtle, right? The lyrics are very subtle. It's not, I mean, I think it was kind of, there's that whole dreamer deceivers trial about that. Supposedly they were advocating suicide. I was like, no, it's nothing to do with that. It's a complete rejection of society's institutions.
Right.
So when you approach this, the lyrics, it's embodied within Halford, and then Ripper Owens as well, who I think is incredible.
Mhm.
But how do you approach breaking down the song, the how you were going to infuse the song within your body and then project it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not when I'm deep diving into each song, I believe that in any song, there's some shred of beauty in it that it's my job as the singer to find. Like
Yeah,
I have to pull out the thing, the one thing at least that makes the song um that was that was worth writing, that was worth expressing. There's at least one thing I can pull out of it where I can find the love for it, with any song. Like it doesn't matter what genre or what style or who wrote it or whatever.
yeah,
And then it's my job to put my given circumstances and experiences onto it.
right.
And then how I um, channel that energy and then relay it. It changes each time, you know. One night it might be a little bit more severe. One night uh, it might be more matter of fact. One night it might
Right.
be, or it really depends upon what I'm bringing to the thing. And
Hmm.
also, I thoroughly believe that that's like one of the most exciting things about live music is this energy, like the channel. There's an exchange of energy
Hmm.
between me, the band, and the audience. Like there's this thing, and plus like the muse, like Rob Halford, Priest. muse, like overall muse of music, I guess you could say. And then it's
Hmm.
my job as the singer to be true to that music. Like it's
Yeah,
my to meet the music. It's my job to relay the words and convey the story in a way that makes sense to other people.
right.
And so um, the intention behind it is just to bring 100% authenticity at all times. Like
Yeah,
that's the job, you know.
right.
Um, so even if you get up there and like make a joke or tell a lie and then afterwards you fix that,
Uh-huh.
or like it's like either way, it's like it's just like I don't believe in like good or bad performance. I truly don't.
Hmm.
I think there's either honest performance or dishonest performance. So it's
Yeah.
my job to bring an honest performance every time.
Like yeah, the like you did one performance of with Corey um is it Corey Glover yeah, from Living Color, of what was this, the there was the Priest song you did,
We did Painkiller.
Painkiller,
Yeah.
and he fucking blows the intro. And then he's like, ah, he just starts screaming and you're
Yeah.
laughing, right? It's I mean, it's Corey Glover,
That was
right?
so funny. Well, we're really close friends, and that he doesn't memorize too well, so he had a hard time memorizing the lyrics. And he said that he wanted to do Painkiller. I was like, okay, but you're gonna have to memorize these lyrics.
Lyrics, yeah.
These lyrics. So fine. So like, I had to jump in and save him a couple times, but his voice is so incredible that it's like
Right?
you
Who
because
cares? Yeah.
whatever he's still bringing it, in such a
Yeah.
powerful way vocally, but
Yeah.
also like Corey's a real one. Like he's never gonna give you a dishonest performance.
Right,
Like he is
exactly.
open as a channel, like as a vessel. He's so open. So it's like even if he doesn't know the words, he's still gonna bring you notes. He's still gonna bring you authenticity,
Yeah.
And that's something I feel like a lot of performers can learn. It's just how to bring your authentic self to the stage instead of like putting on some kind of persona that's not real or genuine, what you think people want. There's a lot of performative performers, so
What do you mean? I
just
think
like people
I
that
think I
are,
get it, but
yeah, like people that just they're not 100% honest
okay, so
in like the
but
perception of what they think they want you to understand is their persona because they've seen it somewhere else and they're like, oh, that's cool.
okay, so and for most people, I mean, would not notice. I mean, that's a very subtle thing, right?
Yeah, you would
But
only notice it's no different than if like you were an electrician and you go to someone's house and their wires are all messed up and you go, man, those wires are dangerous. It's occupational hazard, right? It's the same thing as a performer. You know when someone's bringing the real deal or not. You can be like, oh,
yeah.
they're
Well,
like not even.
what does it, and this is something I asked Roz Williams, I've asked tons of people. I always want to know, what does it feel like when you get on stage and you're like that? What does it feel like?
The ultimate high you will ever
Yeah,
have in
right.
existence. Yeah. You're not
Yeah,
even human anymore. It's just like it's just beyond human. It's like
right.
times of like
Yeah.
I ended up I wanted to find a way to channel like my disruptive nature naturally
Okay.
and naturally in my feminine rage. And
Right.
so that's when I started performing with fire in my original music.
Yeah.
I have a custom made megaphone that shoots like a 6 foot flame.
Oh fuck. I thought that was a metaphor. I
No,
started
it's not.
performing with fire. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, fire.
No,
But you're
no,
like,
it's
no, literal,
it's legitimately like the
literal.
element of fire.
Yes, the element. That's
Yeah.
so fucking badass.
I've been doing this for a while because it matched visually what I was feeling internally, you
Yeah.
know. And I also, never wanted to come from a place of I don't know. I know that I'm more aggressive than most females. I feel like New Yorkers are more aggressive than most Americans.
Yeah.
So like I'm just like aggressive naturally so we can come off a little bit, you know, salty.
Sulfate, yes.
Or intense, so like that's fine. I'll be the intense one. It's okay.
Right, yeah.
Um, so that visual matches like how I feel internally. And that's why metal's always been exciting to me. I've always been drawn to it naturally. It all just made sense. It didn't matter that there wasn't anybody else that I could see that was doing it the way I wanted to do it. Because there really is no template for this. I've like been writing the template as I go along
So
and
for the
things that are exciting.
by template militia, you mean like for what?
Like, you know how some bands see, oh, I like that band, so I'm going to model my band off of them.
Yeah,
So like, even with Judas Priest as being a tribute band,
yeah.
we're not the kind of tribute band that dressed exactly like the original artists. We
I
never
noticed. Yeah,
called ourselves, like, I'm not Roberta Halford or something
exactly.
skimmicky.
Like Judas Priestess.
Yeah, like
You
we've
know,
always maintained our individual identities in the
I
band.
mean, not Judas Priestess, but I'm thinking of the Iron Maidens who totally flaked on me. So that's why I'm talking to you.
Right. Like, I mean, I know those girls. I love those girls very much. And no
Yeah,
shame on they've been doing it way longer than we were. But like, we just didn't want to do that. We were just like,
yeah,
no, we are who we are. We're gonna have our own identities. We're gonna have our own look. And sure, it's
right.
like a nod to Priest, but this is like Priest's music through a very aggressively feminine lens.
Yeah,
Because like everybody in the band is an absolute assassin musically.
right. And it's like going back to like this, it's and one of the okay, I'm gonna just show you this because we're doing I'm doing another ish volume. I keep updating. It's sort of like having like the house specials and the Omaha Calling to the Goddess, right? This is one of my anthologies.
Oh, cool.
Right. Yeah, thank you. And so I want to put part of the this interview in that book as well because it's so amazing. Goddess energy is so amazing. And what is it about women? I mean, I've always felt like, first of all, identified with badass women. I've never been afraid of women. I'm like, they gave you birth, man. In early cultures, you'd see, and they have like thousands and thousands and thousands of statuettes in India, for example. You like that are like in temples and caves and underground, and it's goddess. Um, I've never understood. I mean, these are not just words. Patriarchy is a real fucking thing, right? It hurts people, it kills people. What is it about women where people are like, you deny your mother?
Right, right. I think it's just it's a power struggle, isn't it? It's a power
Yeah,
play. It I don't know. Some men are scared of women. Some men are not. Like strong men aren't scared of strong women, as
yeah.
McKinsey said. It's just I don't know. I feel like uh there's like the power play of it all, and then there's marketing, right?
Okay, yeah,
Americans are obsessed with brands, and Americans are obsessed with celebrity, and
yeah.
Americans are obsessed with marketing. And there's a lot of non-musicians, obviously, running the music industry, and they're running the marketing of
Yeah,
musicians,
right.
um, which is hilarious because it's not really like that it's only like that in the arts. It's not like that in any other line of work.
Yeah.
You never go to the CEO of Bank of America and say, by the way, we think that you look too much a certain way. You need to look more like this to be more marketable as the CEO for like no one tries to, it's like I don't know, it's a bad reference, but like,
No,
it's
it's
the
good.
like you wouldn't go up to a plumber and be like, okay, we're gonna get some non-plumbers to represent you in the field of plumbing. Like it's just like it's so ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, I've always kind of been on my own as an artist because most non-musicians in the industry weren't willing to take the risk of working with me. It was considered
Why?
really risky
Why?
because of me going against my type,
What is your type?
being like a mixed race black female. they were like, well, that doesn't exist anywhere else, so there's no proven example that that is a working thing or even a thing. So we're risk adverse and you're too risky, so we're not doing that.
So there was no okay, so
Who is the black woman in metal that's
but I mean, I'm thinking deeper, anthropologically, I'm thinking archetypally. We are all descended from Lucy, a black woman. That is just fact. And so there's
right? But I'm
nothing.
saying as far as the music industry,
I know. I'm taking it to
example of black
another
women. Yeah. Oh, I
level.
know you're
So
going like,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like there's no we have no reference points for like powerful black women who create shit. And like let me introduce you to something called Olduvai Gorge in Africa and
yeah.
mitochondrial DNA. Everybody has it. It comes from Lucy. It means it's actually a living strand of it's an animal that's
Mhm.
coiled around deoxyribonucleic acid. It forms the lineage. So we don't just have the male, we have, all the you know, the mitochondrial DNA is responsible for the human fucking race.
So yes, and they didn't cut a metal record.
They didn't cut a metal record, so if we could, get a TARDIS or something, go back in time, collect Lucy, and she'd be
Little
like,
bit.
sound like Militia Vox, right?
Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I would love to be proven wrong. I
Right.
would love for like receipts and information about other black women in metal in
Yeah.
America, but me coming up, there were none.
There were
So I don't
none. So there's always got to be somebody who's like becomes the mold,
know.
right? And you are that person. You are that person.
Kind of
Um,
weird because like I played a festival in DC like a
mhm.
couple of years ago, and they
Yeah.
referred to me as a pioneer, and I just laughed because I was like, that's such a weird term because like that's like a term that like most people would associate with like uh colonization.
That's fascinating. That's really a pioneer. Yeah, my great grandfather was an American historian named Herbert
Oh,
Eugene Bolton, and
mhm.
he founded the Bancroft Library at UC Berkeley. And one of the things he did was say, make a mild suggestion. Okay, we got this whole history, and he started out, he was working in the 19th century. Okay, that's when he started out. And the whole idea, the standard for American history was like, okay, so you got your Plymouth Rock and you got your Pilgrims, and they came over here, and then there was like the city on a hill speech, right? That was William Bradford. He was one of the Pilgrim Fathers. He founded the Massachusetts Bay Colony. He came over here in like the 17th century, and they were like, yeah, so we got some I don't know why I'm doing a crankhead, but it's like, yeah, we got some Indians, man, but they're demons because who said that Cotton Mather, man, and he's our dude, so we gotta set them on fire. And so the guy who wrote the speech, which is quoted by every single president, including Barack Obama, is saying, yeah, dude, we gotta set these Indians on fire because they're devils. And my great grandfather, I'm so proud of this man. He was like, hey, you know what? We got other borders, and including like, ever heard of like Mexico, a little place like called Mexico? We got, he called them the Spanish borderlands. The fact that somebody had to come up with that title it is mind blowing. And he was a student of Frederick Jackson Turner, who was the founder of the frontier theory, which is sort of like manifest destiny. Like white people come west and they just take over shit. And it's so like stagecoach, right? Doop, 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 and you have the frontier, and then you get to the Pacific Ocean, and it's like that's it, right? You don't
Uh-huh.
you don't consider, hey, there was a whole history of people discovering America before Columbus did not discover shit, and you had black people back thousands of years ago, actually setting foot on American soil. And then where does your point, Alex? Well, it's just this. So he said, okay, we got to look at the Americas as a, intersectional, um, um, as systems, systems and you know, the shared history of the Americas is really, incorporates the Spanish borderlands. And so he was the first one in an era where historians were like, they read a bunch of other historians' books in their, in their whatever their office, and it was like, oh yes, as so and so said, blah blah blah, and they just copied it down. The whole idea of going out and literally like going to the archives in Mexico was just like foreign. This guy, he went on pony. He had an old Model T Ford. He had like he would sometimes he would walk, on foot, and he would follow the trails of the conquistadores. They were like all like, colonization and rape and murder and pillage, but you know, Bolton said, look, we gotta look at these things from the native perspective. Mind blowing, right? That was back in the, you know, turn of the century.
Mhm.
And what I think we're really, really missing is that, you know, the whole perspective of women, it took how many generations we still don't have the ERA,
Right.
right? So like you're kind of considered to be trouble, dangerous, not, you're a pioneer. But okay, let's talk about that. So I've been babbling, so I'm sorry, but so when you say it's like reminds you of colonization, militia Vox.
Well, I mean, kind of, it's just like weird to use that term because like
Yeah,
it's so heavily associated with the with colonization. But
yeah,
uh, but I never really realized it because I was always just doing what excited me and turned me on. So I was always
yeah,
like, wait a minute, am I the only one standing here?
yeah,
Yeah, maybe I am. I don't know.
yeah. It's
But then now I look back on it and I go, oh, maybe I am the only one standing here. Like I was
right.
like,
I
oh,
mean, like you had like Bell Hooks, who was a huge. I'm a huge admirer of Bell Hooks, right? She wrote about like, how teaching is erotic, and I think what you're doing is a kind of teaching within the body. Every time somebody stands up and says, I am who I am not apologizing for myself. I'm a black woman of mixed race. I am just, I'm standing here and I'm performing these songs. This is my own interpretation. This is not Halford. I'm not trying to be Rob Halford. I'm trying to be Militia. Um, that is fucking subversive. That sends a shockwave through history. It says we're no longer will. And when Rob came out in Advocate magazine in 1990, the same year that Clive Barker did, right? He was also sending this signal, metal is queer as fuck.
yeah, for sure. For sure. I honestly like I've never spoken about that with him because it was never something that it was never the right time to bring something like that up.
Yeah,
But I applaud him for doing that because that was extremely brave. I mean, he knew what was on the line. He knew that part of his fan base would turn away just because
yeah,
they weren't comfortable with the idea or they had preconceived notions about what gay is, and like
right.
it would change, like they would think it would change their identity, like it would do a function in their identity, and then wait, am I gay if I like
Yeah,
Rob? It's really kind of deeply layered.
yeah,
And complex. But like that's Priest though. That's Priest's legacy. They are deeply layered. They are complex.
right.
Like no one else can really, I mean, unless you have those layers, you can't bring those layers musically, So I think, but there's like this perception that metal is this like glazed over, like toxically masculine energy. That's the like, for people who don't know, that's kind of like the preconceived notion about heavy metal. So when they find me, it's like, well, why are you attracted to toxic masculinity? And it's like, well, it's not that for me. I'm not attracted to toxic masculinity. I'm attracted to the layered complexities of their own human nature and like what they're singing about, and complexities of power and like finding your own power and self-worth. Like that's what I love about Judas Priest. And
Yeah.
like no one else could have come out with that message at the time because it wasn't their reality. But I definitely feel like Halford's sexuality is deeply intertwined with the message of Priest. And for anyone to identify with it, it doesn't mean they're gay. It just it just means that they recognized the the uniqueness of his voice and the uniqueness of their collective voice as a band.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't have to be anything else than that, truly. I mean,
Exactly.
you and then you know what? There's a lot of gay people that listen to that and they're like, oh, finally, there's our
Right.
pioneer,
Yeah.
our one guy, our
Yeah.
pioneer, that we can
Exactly.
identify with on a fuller identity level.
Yeah.
Uh, which is great. And then I think that now it's weird because now, thanks to social media, um, people are discovering me, and there's a lot of women, a lot of black and brown people, kids that are finding me going, oh my God, thank goodness you exist.
Right.
Like, thank goodness for you. Like, you were
Yeah.
doing something. And like, it's kind of like this weird, like, full circle moment.
Yeah.
I would have killed to see somebody like me back in the day, just to have proof that it exists or that it's a thing. You
Yeah.
know? Because then I could go back to my mom and be like, see, there's other black
So,
men who do
right.
this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
When she said,
Speaking.
no, they don't, that's not for you. And then there was no one to show. Uh,
Yeah.
Now people have someone to show. It was interesting. Cami Gilbert from Oceans of Summer was playing a show in New York, and she came into the bar, Duff's Brooklyn, a metal bar in New York,
Hmm.
and she saw me. Her eyes got big,
Yeah.
and then she came up to me later and was like, when she could, I guess, get over it. She was seemed nervous. She came up
Yeah.
to me and was like, you know, uh, my family said black girls don't do heavy metal, and I showed them you.
Uh-huh.
And I
That's so,
said,
yeah, that's powerful.
that's pretty cool. I was like, that's cool. I had nobody to show
Right. Yeah, I know to show.
that
Yeah.
could do this or have a career in this business.
Yeah.
Um, but it's kind of wild because like I'd say like the women that influenced me coming up the most would be like, girls from the Riot Girl movement, because they were the first like aggressive female singers that I saw. So I
Yeah.
was really into L7,
Oh
which
yeah. Yeah. I love L7, man.
and like Danita Sparks was like
Yeah.
my her and Susie Gardner were like
Yeah.
get nails when they sang.
Right.
That's the way to do it, man. Like it's
Yeah.
like so aggressively feminine, in their
Right.
songwriting. So L7's like one of my biggest
Me,
inspirations.
yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I love them. Did you remember that scene in like the movie the John Waters movie where they're like they set somebody on fire or something like that?
yeah, absolutely. They're performing Camel Lips at the end of
Yes.
Mom.
Camel lips.
Hammer Jacks, where I used to hang out. That was where I grew up. I grew
Oh
up on,
wow.
and so John Waters is like the patron saint of Maryland. It's like
Yeah.
he's the governor, basically, unofficially. And
Yes.
that was a big moment. I love that Gas Chamber. Very cool song.
That's pretty and Peaches Joshua Grinnell is was actually mentored by John Waters, right? You
Cool.
know. And he also appears in or she whatever Peaches shout out to Peaches Christ is actually appears in the Divine movie,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Mine and I share a birthday.
That's so badass.
So
See,
connected.
there's some kind of like weird shit going on. Yes, so what was that? Oh, yeah, so talking about, toxic masculinity, it was something that people just do not know. And they say who's the biggest names in metal, who are the pioneers in metal, you know. And I always said, well, Lemmy would always say, we play rock and roll, you know, but when I've interviewed him like 5 times, and I was backstage, you know, in 2011. And so I interviewed him 2004 for Brave Words and, you know, Brave Words and Bloody Knuckles magazine, Canada. Shout out to Brave Words and Bloody Knuckles and Martin Popoff, right? And and I told him, I was like, well, you know, I try to be honest with people. I said, Mom, I work as a tutor, you know, I'm an English tutor. He's like, "Well, you know, I have to do this interview." I was really taking a chance, you know, because it's Lemmy, right? And so I said, yeah, I gotta, you know, go off and do my thing. And he said, "You'll never make it. You'll never make it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But then he was just like he winked at me and was like, you know, I said, you know, what's up with your new album is called Inferno. He said, don't ask such fucking obvious questions. It's humid. It's
Mhm.
damp, you know, and which made no sense, right? Later, you know, he says, come with me, come with me." And it's like, what's going on here? And then it's a press junket. The entire hotel suite is filled with journalists and label people and whatever. So this is like in public. He says, you know, sit on my bed. He pats his bed. He's like, do you need some cigarettes? I've got a full pack of Camels or whatever. He's like, oh, you know, he's offering me, and it's like, do you have everything you need? He's somebody, one of the label people had a glossy of him, and he just like takes it out of their hands, and do you need a photograph? You need a signed photograph, and they're saying, but Lem, this is for something, you know, he's like, he was so badass. He did not care that he's got a man on his bed
Mhm.
who he's feeding cigarettes to. Like that did not occur to him. Like, what are you going to say to Lemmy? It's Lemmy, right?
Right.
And that is like to me, the man, the legend, the kind person, the smart person, the aware person.
Lemmy was so incredibly kind and sweet to me. He was never inappropriate with me,
Yeah,
ever. We had some really deep conversations. We finished a bottle of Jack Daniels together, very
nice.
large, and it was after a show at the Stone Pony, and we were in the dressing room and we talked all night. Um, and one of the things we spoke about was he didn't understand why there weren't more black people doing rock and metal.
Yeah,
He didn't get it. Um, we talked about Skunk Anansie from the UK.
yeah.
He loves that band. He loved that band, and so did I. Um, they had like two really heavy songs, and then were pretty light. Otherwise, I felt like there was some punk moments in there, but it wasn't like heavy. You
Well,
know what I
they
mean?
did the one song on my hotel TV, which I thought was badass. Yeah, I
Yeah,
actually interviewed Skin back in the day, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
I love
but
her. I think she's
yeah,
great.
she's great,
I remember seeing her being like that's it, like cool, badass, like
right?
good spirit.
And
We
she
met
and
actually
she and Bjork did a
at
thing. Yeah,
the cover of Satisfaction or something, right?
yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, but like she lives here now. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because her wife is here.
nice.
Um, we met at Afropunk Festival a couple
Oh
years ago,
wow,
hosting and performing, and I met her, and she was like, I don't know, she was kind of like, "What do you think this audience wants to hear?" And I
right.
was like, "I think you should play your heaviest songs," and then they didn't. Okay, well, tried. Um, but yeah, they're just like in a different place now than they were. They're not angry anymore. They're quite content. So like,
Right.
what? But
Yeah.
I always thought "Selling Jesus" was like was their best song for sure.
Yeah.
But I digress. Back to Lemmy,
Yeah.
we talked about Little Richard. We talked about um, how tip, typically black artists that were making rock and metal had predominantly white audiences, and like sure. Not sure why when like that the genre started in the Black community that it ended up becoming more mainstream and becoming more identified with like white culture. It's kind of weird how it got disassociative.
Yeah.
Uh, and but now I find because the times have been very unpredictable and kind of turbulent, I find that it's almost completely switched. Where I find a lot of the artists that are coming up now, ones that are not black, are into R&B and rap,
Hmm.
and then now black kids are in love with alternative culture.
It's true. Yeah, it's really weird. Like I mean, I never met Ice T, but he does a cover of like he's in the Lemmy movie, right? And huge
Body
fan.
count,
What?
body count, the
Body
band.
Count is so badass. Yeah, so that's a really we're thinking. I'm trying to think of like black people in metal, and there's like five, but really there's a lot more, right? Like
There's about to be a lot more, I promise you,
I
because
I
it's like
I love
they're
it.
like the culture is so uh if anyone's got anything about to be mad about, it's a black American, you know? So like it's like
Right.
I'm like, dig, you know, I'm surprised that I've spoken to you more before, you know. So it's like, I mean, where do you go when you're pissed off? You go to the metal community. Like
Yeah,
that's
let's talk about like a little bit more about Corey. So how did you meet him, and how did you wind up like collaborating with him and Living Color?
so Vernon Reed has an organization called the Black Rock Coalition.
Hmm.
It's essentially based in New York, but now it's kind of like spread out.
Yeah,
But it was based here, it was rooted here for a long time. And Living Color wanted to offer a platform for rockers of the melanated rockers to connect and lift each other up, you
yeah,
know, because it takes a village. And Living Color are kind of like, you know, they're on the throne of that, but then
right.
they find all these other artists and stuff that also support the message of
Yeah.
being. So Black Rock Coalition came knocking on my door,
Uh-huh.
and it took you so long,
Right.
and, and then we started performing together. So I think it was they were doing a fundraiser for the bass player Diaper Man from Parliament Funkadelic
Oh
was selling
yeah.
albums, and we were raising money to help shoulder the weight of those hospital bills for his family.
Yeah.
We did a couple benefit concerts, and Corey was on that, and that's when we met for the first time. And I think I said something to him like, "Oh man, my dad introduced me to Living Color when I was a kid," and he was like, he hates that story.
Yeah.
So, but we just like sparked a friendship. It was like a slow burn, and then eventually, like I sang with them. I would join them on stage,
Yeah.
doing like Cult of Personality, obviously, or you know, um, when Corey would do solo shows, we'd be like, oh, you know, it would be fun. Let's do the Fleetwood Mac cover, like something no one would expect, and we do,
Right.
you know, and then of
Yeah.
course, Cult of Personality, and like, um, but he ended up being like a really like a deep friend and somewhat of a mentor. I hate to say that because our friendship is so strong. So like
Yeah.
it's but we would talk about music and we would talk about artists and we talk about history. We would talk about life, the lifestyle of
Right.
being a heavy rock band. We would talk about what we want to achieve, what we want to accomplish. We had many drunken writing sessions, you know. Um, so we've had like some original stuff socked away, which
Nice.
like see the light of day someday. Um, but when we decided to, I was working with a producer friend, Tony Bruno, and he wanted me to sing "It's Only Love," you know, the Bryan Adams Tina Turner duet
Yeah.
with a, and I was like, oh yeah, I like that song, like that, you know, that's like
Hmm.
kind of a dusty one, you never hear it anymore.
Right.
You know, it was huge when it came out, and I was like, fuck it, let's record it. And he
Nice.
was like, who do you want to sing with? I said, I honestly couldn't imagine singing with anyone but Corey on this.
Nice.
Like, I feel like it has to be the two of us.
Right.
Like, well, who do you want to play guitar on it? And I said, well, I feel like Vernon would be like the natural
Yeah.
to play on it.
Right. Right.
What if we have a duet of guitars? Like, what if we have Vernon and Nuno?
Nice.
That's a cool idea.
Okay.
It just happened. It happened very quick.
That's
It
so
was
badass.
and like put it together. And then both of like everybody was touring pretty intensely at that time. Living Color was on tour, Extreme was on tour. Vernon and Nuno both did the Aussie concert,
Oh, nice.
the last Aussie concert, and then I was working a lot, and I was just like, "We're never going to be in a room together, are we?" Like, I was like, "I don't know." So like, I ended up having to make an AI video for of us based off of like photographs of us,
Oh, wow.
even though Corey and I had shot footage of us on a green screen.
Uh-huh.
It's like it was so obvious, like we just couldn't work it out to be in a room together. So
Yeah.
we ended up having to make a music video, but we had to use AI because we just weren't. Everybody was too fucking busy for their own fucking good, so it
Right.
just didn't happen. But I'm still really proud of that song. I think it came out pretty awesome. I mean, it was fun to do, and then
Yeah.
basically that's that along with my other songs that were coming out around the same time was how I got my record deal with Golden Robot.
Nice.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
Corey had recommended them, like, oh, I really like the owner of that
Hmm.
label. You know, you should connect with him and maybe do something. And then they were like, oh, we know who you are. They're like, we're gonna release everything you have. And I was like,
That's
oh,
so
okay.
badass.
Yeah, so they signed me. They signed Priestess. Priestess is signed. Um,
Wow.
yeah. And it's because of them that like this next chapter in my career is about to kick off, which I can't even talk about yet. But when it comes out, you will know. I will let
Yeah.
you. You'll see it
Cool.
anyway because it's like it's a pretty huge accomplishment. And I hope it like kind of like solidifies my place in the history of this. Um, because like to be honest, it's been years of like working alone. Even though I do have a lot of collaborations, like the brunt of the career of my career has been very lone wolf.
Hmm.
Like did not have a lot of support of the industry. Like really none. I shouldn't even say a lot of support. Like none. So no
Yeah. No
none support.
support.
None support, right? Like
Yeah.
anytime someone was interested in me, like I turned down every record deal that I had been offered between the Cleopatra Records thing and then this thing because they always wanted to change me or they wanted me to look different. I had people
Like how? Like how?
straight up that I needed to look more white to be accepted by white audiences. I
What?
oh yeah. I was the works. I was told that I had to look um that I had to straighten my hair, that my hair was too ethnic or wild looking
You're a black woman, so
by,
you needed to be white to be acceptable
by white audiences
by
because
white people.
that was the genre was predominantly.
Oh, okay, that makes like total no fucking sense.
But then the audience like couldn't relate to me as in my true natural form.
So who could relate to Mick Jagger or who could relate to Little Richard?
Sure.
You know, like, so the pioneers, if we're going to use that term, I
Uh-huh.
guess we are, like, nobody could relate to Little Richard except, black gay men from Georgia, right? Who there were like five, they were like, yeah,
Right?
but that is just like it's your plumber's thing. You're the
Yeah, but it was
plumber's
like,
thing.
yeah. But it was like I faced decades of that.
Wow.
Literally where it was just like they couldn't relate to me. Um, they'd say like, "Oh, you're too closely identified to metal. You're too metal for us." People
Eh,
would say, you should soften your look. I got that a lot. Soften your look. Yeah, that was a popular one. Um, I had the head of the head of a major record label say that it's interesting. You're interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens to you. Yeah, that's what he said. He said, "Oh, I had one guy that said you're like the reverse Eminem."
Like that isn't like totally fucking racist, right?
Right,
Like
but that's not a thing. Whatever you're
that's
saying,
not what
I know what you're saying, but
but
mad.
no, nah, the
Like, 'cause
rever no,
Eminem's
what?
when he does rap, he's like, "You're a black female and you do metal."
That doesn't even work. Yeah, it's like so if he did metal, if he did like if he did if oh, so if Eminem, Marshall Mathers did covers of Living Color, he would be the white, you know,
The
cover
antithesis.
black metal cover artist, but
Sure.
he's a rapper.
Don't think about it
So
too
it doesn't
deeply.
I
It's like
know, but I'm
so.
like
It's just so. Yeah, so ridiculous. Like when he
yeah.
said it to me, I just like was stone faced. I was kind of like, I was like, I
Oh
hate your
my
face.
God. So when they make the movie, you know, that will be a scene,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like most, it's funny. Like these were the two situations that happened most of the time. Most of the time, it was either one, you're too this, right? You're too black, you're too wild, you're
What
too
does that
aggressive,
even
you're
fucking mean?
too feminine,
Oh
too
yeah, I'm literally
like
a
the
woman,
politics, too black,
dude.
blah, blah, blah.
Right, yes.
And then the flip side was, oh, you're all those things, but I can help you. Dot, dot, dot. Right? And it was a fuck ton of Me Too moments, which always left me going like, fuck you in the cab that brought you here. Like, I know, no shame on any woman that's ever used her body in that way to get what she wanted in this life. I don't care. For me personally, I wasn't going to go that route. So I've always pride myself saying I never sucked anyone's dick to get to where I am.
Right.
Right? It was
Yeah.
never a thing that was intertwined for me whatsoever. I was
Yeah.
never gonna, sleep with someone to further my career. I'm no casting couch bitch. Like I'm just
Right.
like
Hello.
so. So because of that, did it cost me like opportunities, or did it cost me, whatever? Sure, maybe, but I didn't care, and I still don't
Right.
care. Because I've
Right.
always approached this industry on my terms, and like I'm not in the music industry. I'm in the industry of militia VOX. So I'm not really interested
Oh
in
my God.
they're doing or how other women get there. Like good for them, but that was never me.
So when I write this up as an article, I am in the industry of militia vox. That
I'm
is
not.
like my title. It's a yeah, because people are really short-sighted, and I've been doing this whatever polymath, whatever author, whatever editor publisher for like 30 years, and I get people I get AI slop, algorithmically generated, which I always respond to. And it's responded to by AI, but I think it's hilarious because it's sort of like performance art, right? Or whatever. It's sort of like an art project for me. So they will send me, they'll say, they have their AI thing read a description of Nocturnicorn books, and then based on that, they decide how they're going to help me out get boost my signal. And I also worked in marketing and advertising. And actually, I worked with a woman who worked with Lemmy, was Lemmy's publicist, right? So I'm pretty sure I read a lot of PR stuff. I said, I'm sorry, but you haven't even researched, you don't even know who I am. You call me George Bailey, which is my email address. There's a character in It's a Wonderful Life. My name is Alexis Johnson, aka Kandy Fontaine. Uh, so you haven't even read my books, but you're trying to help me to promote myself. No, thank you. And so I will feed their AI with I will have because I don't have time for this shit. I will have AI write a response to them explaining why it's AI slop and I don't need their help. Thank you very much. And then their AI will send me, and it's a fascinating. It's a, it's an art project for me. But it's like, why would I need your help? I am my whole kind of brand is originality. Nobody was doing this before. Nobody has hybridized, punk rock, journalism, metal, interviews, performance, and collaborators and contributors like Jarbo, you know, or John Shirley, or or Carrie Lee Chrome. Nobody has done this before. So I don't need your help. Thank you.
Right, right. And that's the way to be, it's
No,
like you have to take your own vision,
yeah.
it's really have to like I always wanted more control over my narrative. I never wanted anyone to that's why have a problem with management. I never had a great manager
Yeah.
because sometimes they'd try to represent me, they would try to sell my sex appeal, which like, yeah, that's part of it, but it's not all of it. Like that shouldn't be the focus. Like, why would you dumb me down to just being like a hot chick when it's like a hot chick like who will sing rings around anybody? It's like
Yeah, it's
it's
not,
like
yeah, you're hot as fuck, but that's not the first thing I noticed about you. I thought, damn, damn the range, man. But you bring it. Like I was thinking, wow, I think it was Hell Went for Leather, or you've got another thing coming. I'm like, that is powerful because when you're a Priest fan, it is deeply rooted in your autobiography. I think for every metal fan in general, and I remember I was at a Priest concert in Florida. There was a guy, I think he was from Brazil, and he was totally drunk off his ass, and he was like, "My brother," and I was like, "My brother," it's like I didn't say, whatever he was from a South American country, and I was like, "It's metal," and it's like, "Yes, it's the Priest." I was like, you know. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Squeezy hugs, right? I've had squeezy hugs from, fierce femmes like Karen Crisis and
Yeah, oh,
you know what I mean? Like Karen is fucking amazing, right?
but I
Yeah,
think that's the cool thing about metal is that everybody is ultimately metal's number one fan. And then you
right.
meet other people where metal is like their number one. And then it's just like, how do you not get excited? How do you not get turned on? How do you not get like a feeling of relief too to find other metalheads and like
Right, yeah, because
I think it's more of that camaraderie than any other genre. You don't see like pop people going like yay, like, or maybe you do. I don't live in that space, so I don't know.
yeah, and no shade against like Taylor Swift
That's
fans,
more
but I can't see that, that kind of like ferocity. And it's like, well, maybe I'm just intense, but I've never been able to conceive of life as like, one life, I'm gonna live it up, right? That's what metal says to me,
yeah,
you know, like nobody's given you an opportunity. There's a lot of people would be happy if you died, right? So what are you gonna do about it? There are people who's like, you should not be doing that. And you're just like, well, I am here, man. I'm embodied. And what speaks to me, it says, you got another thing coming, right?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's such an anthem for uh like self-realization, self-reliance. You know,
right.
it's just like a powerful message overall. But like if you go back into some of my early stuff, there's a lot of those themes in there that like maybe it was subconsciously put in there or just like it was just something that I was
Hmm.
obsessed with. Like I have a song with my old band Swear on Your Life that I still play called Self-Taught, you
Hmm.
know. Um and it's all about, being ostracized in Catholic school. And it's like I had a religion teacher stand up in the middle of religion class, point at me and draw the attention of my entire classroom to me and say, she's going to hell because she's not baptized.
Huh,
Yeah. And
huh.
I was like, well, at least I'll have a good time.
And
because
on
like
the
I don't want to be
highway
wherever
to
you. Yeah, I was like, I don't want
hell,
to be wherever you
right?
think I'm going. So,
I don't want
sure,
to be like,
I
you
choose
know,
hell. Good.
right? Yeah, you did a cover. Man, I was looking at your channel. It's like, holy shit, she does Ace of Spades, and then it's like Highway to Hell. Man, all my favorites, you know.
Yeah.
And
Those
so,
are all songs that I totally identify with because I was
right,
always an outsider. I mean, I'm like the super outsider because
right, yeah.
I was always just like, uh, I like had so much finger pointing at me my entire life. Oh, you should not be doing that my whole
Right?
life.
Yeah, exactly. Oh wow. You should do a cover of that song.
Of that song, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I
So
live that. I live
yeah,
it.
when I was in Catholic school, Jesuit high school, okay, so I had people, constantly telling me for one thing, like they would go through like the Ten Commandments. We're all expect to like memorize the Ten Commandments in Spanish, and then we were supposed to, go down the rows, and we were supposed to give our own interpretations of the Ten Commandments. So I had my Spanish class, this guy, I forget, Mr. Donato, he's no longer with us. He would say things like, he would make jokes that were very popular with the students, like, you know, queers and Spaniards. It's like I was like 15 years old, and I was thinking, um, I don't like where this is going. So he would
Mm.
come to me, and I was supposed to interpret like the first commandment, which is about idolatry. And I say, well, we got these nuclear weapons. We treat like, you know, gods of metal. And I was thinking in my mind, I'm thinking, gods of metal, metal gods, right? And he just looks at me and he goes, you should not be. No, he said, that's not correct. I was like, what do you mean? And then years later, it turns out that two of my theology instructors, the 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 swim team coach, who was also a history teacher, about six
They
other
don't have
people,
that.
they're all like fucking pedophiles,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like, so you're telling me that my theology, and I'm not even a Christian, is incorrect because I'm referring to the biggest threat to our existential, threat to humanity's existence at the time in the 80s was fucking, you know, nuclear war. And it's like electric funeral. I mean, I was listening to metal. Metal was the only music that was telling the truth. War
Very
pigs,
answering
right?
questions and answers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
war
Well, that's
pigs.
it's kind of wild. Do you have Netflix?
I don't. I had it for a little while.
Are you a true crime person at all?
Oh, hells yeah.
Of course you are. Yes.
Hells
Um,
to the
do you remember that series, The Keepers?
I don't remember it as such, but
It was a true crime docuseries. It's still on. It's been like I think it's the longest running true crime series on Netflix. It's about girls at a Catholic school that were uh, sexually assaulted,
oh wow.
people of the cloth,
Okay.
and then the students went and told one of the nuns, and then the nun wound up dead. Yeah,
Wow.
that was
That's
my
heavy. What? That was
that was
your
my
high school?
yeah.
Oh shit. Holy shit.
So, so I had a very complex relationship with like religion and authority figures and like its relationship with females and women's place in the world and like, you know, sisterhood and like all these things.
Let me show you one of my books. Was actually I wanted to have a interview, but I couldn't get one. At least that was accessible. So, and this is actually inspired by Joan Jett's cover of the AC/DC song. Now
Uh,
that's Nicole Six on the cover. This is called "Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap," a literary tribute to revenge.
oh, that's great.
Right.
I'm a big
And
fan of
talking
revenge.
about like, noir and true crime as we were.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, it was crazy because like I mean, that documentary does a great way of explaining the template in Boston, um, or not the template, but like the tone in Boston, in Baltimore, um, with the archdiocese that pretty much ran the roost. And
There was another documentary, uh, and then there was also like a it was a fictional that was based on I think it was I think it did take place in Boston, right, with the cover up of the mass pedophile conspiracy and in the diocese, right? The Boston Globe, I think, did that, or right? That was the same thing, right?
I don't think it was the same thing, but it's a parallel theme.
It's a parallel thing. Yeah, it's a parallel thing. Yeah,
Parallel. But yeah, I've always kind of been in situations where and it wasn't my parents' fault. They just wanted me to get a good education. I've been in
right.
situations where um, there were religious related figures that were finger wagging at me and telling me what I should and should not do, and why I was bad, and why I was going to hell, and why I was,
Yeah.
was Christ or whatever. It's just like it was years and years of that. You should
And
not be sitting on the bench that way on the piano. You're going to walk into the church with respect. You're going to, like all of these things.
what is
And
it? What do you mean you should not?
that's like such a great origin of rebellion.
Right. Yeah.
You know, um, my blood is Black and Native American and Jewish.
Right.
I literally have rebellion in my veins. So it's like, it to me, it just like if you do the math, it just makes sense that I would be attracted to heavy metal.
Yeah, my collaborator on this book, which we just wrote together, is it's a I don't want to say because I'll get it wrong. So, but he is Native American. He's First Nations. His name is Michael Kobe, and this is a book that we wrote together called Drag Cola.
Oh, cool.
Right. And my collaborator, another collaborator, which I just mentioned, Nicole Six, is also, part Native. And I have a lot of, friends and collaborators, I don't know why, who are Jewish, who are like Alan Maybe, for example, and who are and Emily Frank, who, there's something about that spirit of rebellion because you're told that not only that you are well that your existence is wrong somehow, it's like it's almost like a meme, right? Me exists, them, you should not be doing that, right?
Totally. I mean, like that's like the story of my life. So that's why, like, I don't know, I relish in going against the grain.
Yeah,
Uh, it's fine. Like I don't need to live in like a state of external acceptance. Like I have internal acceptance. So
but
I don't need.
that is so rare. I mean, I've thought about this a lot, like Wh- and it seems to be extraordinary, almost like to the point where it might be wired into our DNA. The people in general, I hate to make generalizations, but it's like it's been proven over and over and over and over again. Like, like there's this like incredible fear of of first being authentic, of doing things that you decide to do, and of going against whatever, which people tell you you should not be doing that. Um, Down in Tokyo, whatever. Well, you were down in Melbourne anyway. That there's fear, and I
It's,
never understood it. I would rather not be here.
I mean, it's their own doing, it's their own projection, it's their own self-help. Like I just go like, I don't even think about it. Like it's not even a thing that like I know it exists, but I don't choose to live in
Right?
its
Yeah.
minds ever.
Right.
And it's
I
just
had
people try to make sense of me. I just go,
I
this
had
is really
people
sense of. It's
like
very
right.
straightforward what's happened here.
It's hello, right? I had people actually, I had this like some crazy person accuse me of transphobia, and I was like, wow, that's heavy. Have you read my books over the past? do you know I've been in anthologies with Patrick Khalifa and Michelle T and Kate, Bornstein, Okay, so whatever, but I had some people pull out of my anthologies and call me drama, and I was blacklisted in certain little circles. Why? Not because they believed the allegations, but because they were afraid of the other micro press people would delete their contract with them. They were more afraid of people who had no clout whatsoever than of this. They self-selected out of anthologies with literal David J. Haskins
Mhm.
and literal, you know, fucking Jarbo and literal whoever, um, Ethan Maroulis from Spawn Ranch and on and on and on. Why? Because they were afraid that they would get in trouble with people who have no clout whatsoever. And there was just fear, mindless groveling,
Let them fear. That doesn't
right?
stop you.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. So let them fear should be like a billboard,
Sure. But I mean, like, I never let anybody else's opinion affect what I was doing.
obviously. And so
Yeah.
if it
It's like
would you
I like there had been or have been and still are plenty of people that think uh that like what I'm doing shouldn't exist or or like there's no place for that or there's no whatever. Like I'm not really concerned. Like I'm really not because everything that I do creatively is like I'm just trying to like be better than I was yesterday. Like I'm
so
always in build. I want to
you're trying to bring your A game
all the time.
to a
Simple.
game that doesn't have any kind of parameters.
Correct. Like it's like that's why I exist in I love heavy music. That's the most exciting thing to me. Whether it's like goth industrial or metal, that's why I always I guess define myself as alternative metal. So alternative becomes this like catch-all for heavy
Right.
music. Um, but some people have a problem with that. Oh, your music's too all over the place. Okay.
So how do these people approach you? I mean, I very much doubt that you were soliciting their opinion. How do they just
Well, most of the time, what happens is that if we talk about like music media, a lot of times, yes, they want to talk about Judas Priestess. To
Mhm.
them, it's like they think that's the thing that defines me. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but I mean, I do so much other stuff, and I've been writing original music since 1996.
Right.
So then I go, I mean, the first song I wrote was 1995, maybe 94. It's like I've been writing rock music for the majority of my life.
Right.
But people that are, especially people that love Priest, like obviously that's something that strikes a
Sure.
chord with them,
Yeah.
and like cool, like let it strike a chord with you. But um, yeah, I mean, I do so much other things than that. Like Priest has definitely been the thing that I needed to do to show other people how serious I was about the genre and like creating heavy sounds and making a statement. The statement that I
Mhm.
needed to make that like girls can play guys' music. Like it's like
Right.
oh,
Hello.
it's metal or whatever.
Yeah.
When Judas Priestess first started, we got some hate mail.
Really?
Yeah, we got hate mail before we played our first gig.
What?
Uh,
What?
yeah. I
What?
remember something to the tune of "ha ha ha," laughing my ass off as if girls could play Priest.
What?
Yeah, we get stuff like that. Yeah, or there's sometimes people are just like, "Oh, that black girl shouldn't be singing for Rob Halford," and I'm just like,
Um,
"Why not?" Like, what?
what, and with with what rip and
Yeah. Or
the
they'll
in
say like,
the
"Oh, like, oh, I wonder if she's gay too," ha ha ha, or like whatever. Like, they're
it's just
like, like the
wow.
weirdest commentary. Like that's
That's
the first
like
thing I think of. I'm like, I don't care. I honestly like anybody's opinions or the comment section
ow,
doesn't
ow,
offend
ow,
me at all.
ow,
I
ow.
like, I'm please and like sequence say whatever they want. I really
The worst,
could not care.
the
Yeah,
worst
like
for
I'm just
them, the worst
like
for
when
them.
anyone says like. weird negative thoughts, I'm just like, oh, that's like more of a reflection on you than it is on me. Yeah.
The worst for them is that not only are their opinions, not devastating, you're like, ah, wow. You're just like unfazed. That's the
Unfair.
worst for if they only knew,
Sure. Like, and
right?
you know what? It's like there's some people that get really offended, like, oh, how dare these girls like play the music of Priest as if it's like,
The music oppressed.
yeah,
The music
like
oppressed. Oh my
why
God.
is why is it touchable? It shouldn't be. Yeah.
What is it about the music of Priest that is, somehow not coded? Like, what about Rob's, kind of like incredibly leather daddy, spikes and leather thing that is not femme coded? I mean, he's genderqueer as hell, you know? Like,
What was funny was one time we was backstage at a Priest show, and I was talking to Rob, and I asked him because I genuinely wanted to know
yeah.
if he ever considered doing Broadway or had been in a musical because
Oh
he's
my
got
God. What?
a theatrical voice.
Yeah.
And I was like, it seems like it would just be a no-brainer that it would translate so well.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got vocal stamina, like real vocal stamina. And a couple people like made big eyes at me when I asked him that, and I was like, "What?" And afterwards, they're like, "You don't ask Rob Halford if he wants to do Broadway." I'm like, "Why not?"
Why
I
not?
was like, "Why not?" But it's like theater and metal are like this, also
Right,
kind of
exactly.
very theatrical. Like, are you kidding? And he said, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "I wish he had been offered the role of the king in Aida
Perfect.
and turned it down because he thought the metal fans wouldn't he thought metal fans wouldn't support him doing theater. And he said in hindsight he wishes he had done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm like, do it now if you want. It's like you
right,
have the
exactly. I mean, I would watch the shit out of that. I know a lot of people who would,
but then again, that's the stereotype that, oh, if you do theater, you're not a real artist or something.
right. So
Like artist if you do theater. Like there's some kind of line there.
none of the people who started our hybrid, whatever music, I mean, popular music were, I mean, okay, so I mean, I used to write for this magazine, Zero Tolerance magazine in the
Uh-huh.
UK. Okay, so here's some folks who, who did something that had never been done before, right?
Hmm.
Here's another one. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, nobody gave them permission. Nobody gave Lemmy permission
Correct.
for his style. And as you know, being a friend of his, he would always say, we play rock and roll. I remember before there was rock and roll.
Hmm.
And I actually, when I, well, I'm not going to talk, give that anecdote. Um, the people who created stuff, none of them had permission, and they would find that obscene.
Yeah. Right.
What
Well,
would,
I mean,
yeah,
I've been banned a lot. Like over the course of my career, I've been banned from many places and things.
like what do you mean banned?
Banned, like
But
not
like,
allowed to be in the building,
what,
or not
what,
allowed to be at the city, or not allowed to be at the school, or whatever.
what,
So I, I always find it's better to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. And
oh,
you know,
dare I ask? So, like, I mean, like your presence is like terrorism adjacent. Like people are afraid that you will show up and be, an industry of one, and people like that
well,
will.
okay. So let me explain.
Okay.
So I got banned for the first time with Swearing Your Life uh, at WSOU, Seton Hall University.
Hmm.
Got banned, which like they play Cannibal Corpse. It's like I couldn't believe that I got banned uh, because
Dead.
I had anti-Catholic messages in my music.
You didn't have any backward masking, right? Or any M&M shit in there, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Album was called Burn My Crosses, which is a metaphor.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course it's like I
And
mean it's not like, the Marduk album, which is literally called Fuck Me Jesus,
uh-huh.
like but
It basically put these on the same level.
okay.
Like it wasn't supposed to be a religious reference. It was just supposed to be like when someone takes things that are sacred to you and like destroys them. Like that was the metaphor.
It's a
But
metaphor. Hello.
it,
Yeah.
they didn't see it that way. They saw it as an anti-Catholic message.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, and they're like you you stand on quicksand, my brothers and sisters in Catholicism. If you and I always say you have the one job, but no, you just gotta mess with children.
Yeah,
That is not part of your, what your assignment or whatever,
for sure.
right?
But that's, I mean, there was so much corruption within like my school alone. I mean, I mean, in high school, I knew about people that were having full-on relationships with teachers, like classmates of mine.
Wow.
Yeah, relationships with teachers, or they had a sexual relationship with teachers,
Yeah.
priests that were molesting friends of mine. And it was very normalized.
Yeah.
So was I upset when I got banned from Catholic schools? I was like, that all checks. Fine, that's
Yeah.
gonna do it. It's not hard
Yeah.
to piss off Catholics, I guess. But like it all made sense. I wasn't mad at it. I was disappointed because I wanted to be on WSOU because I liked the station. But I
Yeah.
was just like, and then D. Snyder said to me, dude, that's awesome. You got banned already? He was like, that's props, man. Like, good for you. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but it was a good thing. Um, and then I got banned again. Actually, Priestess got banned twice at the NAMM convention in Anaheim.
How did you manage that, Militia?
They said we were too loud, and also I had dropped the F word. And when they said, "Oh, you can't say that over the microphone," I changed it to the C word, and they
Ooh.
were like, "Done."
Yeah, that no. You should
Man,
not
it's
be
fine.
doing that.
Yeah, that's what my mouth got in trouble. We played um, the. It was a Bikers for Babies event with Dee Snider where we
Cool.
played Twisted Sister, and the mayor of the town wanted me to like read like words from our sponsors, and I was like, they ain't sponsoring me or this band, so I'm not going to do that. And I dropped an F bomb, and then we were banned from that town.
Nice.
That happened, and then
Yeah.
what was it? Oh yeah. Um, on Halloween, I think it was like 2026. Oh no, 2016. I was doing a solo show at Brooklyn Academy of Music, and I had some unauthorized fire, unauthorized fire
I
in the
fucking love you.
performance, and it was a for forgiveness rather than permission situation in my mind. But they didn't agree to that, and they said, "This is a landmark building. You can't do that here." And so I'm banned for life from Brooklyn Academy.
Nice. Badge of honor. Wow, that's amazing.
So I've been banned in many forms. Oh, and then I forget what year this was. I want to say it was like 2013 or 14. I got banned from Toby Keith's I Love This Bar in Rancho
Okay.
Cordova,
Okay.
California.
Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah.
I was doing a show there. They said that I inspired lewd behavior.
Lewd, what the actual fuck?
People were taking their clothes off during my show. I didn't say no. I just like said like yeah, like do what you feel. And apparently that's a family restaurant and they didn't
Oh,
take to that well. I was banned for life for lewd behavior or
you were
encouraging.
encouraging. So I actually had lunch with Jatan Damone at a Astros in Silver Lake. Yeah, it is kind of irrelevant, but kind of adjacent because, Christian Death and Jatan and they're a little bit controversial and like a
There's
lot. Right, yeah. That's so badass. So I wanted to ask you about your acting because also, I mean, the subversive, kind of like that. I didn't recognize the film, or is it a TV show, but where with the guy is a patient, he has cancer, and you want to like, you know, like and
Oh, yes.
right, yeah, that one. What was that called, and what was the show?
Fuck, what was it called? Um, it was a short movie that ended up winning a bunch of awards
Nice.
and stuff. Um, it was essentially the storyline was about a nurse that makes a house call, or she goes in a series, she makes a house call to a patient who is just told that he is terminal with cancer. And then she goes there to relieve him of his anxieties
Oh,
because
nice.
fighting the sexual situation for her because they're kind of at like the end of their rope and it's their last hurrah and their last gasp at humanity and what's the most human thing you can do other than like fuck the hell out of somebody.
Right?
So that's her get up that she enjoys like
I love
people
it.
terminal and she's like take all your anger, all your pain and give it to me. And like that's that's the
Fuck
premise.
yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Where can I see this film?
That's a good question. There's Last Slice Productions.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I don't know where it's running currently, or it's probably downloadable on their website or something like that.
Okay,
Or
cool. What's the name of this film?
what is it called? Eek. Um, oh God, bad actor. Um,
Bad actor. Yeah.
it was a long time. Well, no, I mean it was kind of a long time ago. Let's see.
Yeah.
Uh, I love it. Having to look at my own resume to see what it's called. Um, what's it called? It was brilliant. I mean, it's like the guy who wrote it. Oh, he's a metalhead too,
Nice.
and we had a great time making that. It was just like it was so ridiculous. But I had taken a break from acting for a while before that,
Yeah.
um, because I found acting to be very much like too much about stereotypes and typecasting for
Hmm.
me. Right. So, um, so weird. Oh, it was called Lunch Break.
Lunch break. Okay.
So the nurse is on her lunch break and she's going to like the homes of people who are dying of cancer to try to fuck them before they die.
Well, I mean that seems highly reasonable, but then,
Yeah, so
I
reasonable.
I'm controversial as fuck, but Nicole Six and I actually wrote a movie together, and I hope to get it produced one day. It's based on my short story. It's called Serial Date. The premise is very simple. So there's this girl, she's well, we turned her into a a stripper, but in the original story, she's just like there is a kind of a psychological profile of somebody who's turned on by serial killers. Only this is a complete reverse. This woman gets off on having sex with serial killers and then killing them,
Sweet.
So thank you. So in the beginning of the story, she's looking around her room and she's got all these, you know, like portraits of whatever famous serial killers, John Wayne Gacy and whatever. And and the and she's got this kind of she's very much in her own universe, and and they're vibing. They're like, "Go, girl." And she's like, "Yeah, man." And so she puts an ad in like Grinder or something, or the whatever the paper, she's like, and she responds to an ad by this guy she knows. He's a serial murderer because she's been stalking him.
I love it.
Right. And she portrays herself as just like, yeah, DTF, man. And she makes him hella nervous, right? So, you know, um, he picks her up and she's like, she's like playing with herself and shit. And he's
Uh,
like, you should not be doing that. It's
uh,
like, stop it, put that away, whatever. And so they get to this, it's like it takes place in Pedro. And because I used to live around there, near Strong Beach and, whatever. And they get to the wharf and he has a boat and she's got in her purse, she's got a ball peen hammer, right? So this is the whole film so far, but it's going to be a full, you know, serial date, the motion picture eventually. Shout out to Nicole Six. And so anyway, they're getting it on and shaka chaka bow wow. And she reaches down into her purse, pulls out the ball peen hammer, and just like starts hitting the shit out of him in the head. And the scalp is bursting, all this blood, man. And she's like, cool. And then she's like, she's using it as lube,
yeah,
So I don't know why, Miss Militia. I got this vibe from you, like you would, you wouldn't be like, oh, well, that's inappropriate. I mean, you would understand that I don't in fact, there's a Bram Stoker award-winning author named Lucy Taylor who is known as the queen of erotic horror. And she blurbed one of my books, and she said shocking, perverse, funny as hell. And the next time I was like, I had another book that I wanted her to blurb, and she said, sure. Okay, so I sent it to her, and she got 2 pages in, and she said, Alex, your writing is great, but this is way too fucking intense for me. And I was like, you are the queen of erotic horror, and I consider that a badge of honor that you were like freaked out.
yeah. I'm very much an Edgar Allan. That's like the nerdiest thing about me is that I'm very much into Edgar Allan Poe.
Me too. What's
Yeah,
what's your favorite Poe story?
Fall of the House of Usher.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Why? I mean, I know why myself, but
because of Madeline.
because of, yeah,
Yeah,
the whole, so I mean, there's a lot there. I actually did a whole thing on in my when I was a professor at Dominguez Hills University. But okay, so Madeline Usher, what's with it's incest, right? First,
but when
yeah,
she it's a revenge story from
it's a
her
revenge story. Yes.
from her perspective, which is the perspective I choose to take it from. She came back from the dead to kill Roderick,
Yeah.
and she looked so powerful. Like it was just like she was just like in her ultimate power coming back from the dead to get even. I mean, it's like such a great revenge story. Like I just love it.
It's a
I never saw it from his perspective ever. It was always from hers.
It is right, and I mean, speaking of which, and again, I just showed you the cover. The blurb that was on the top of this is okay. Alexis Johnson is the Baudelaire of our time, right? Um, the poet of the underground, John Shirley, primary screenwriter, The Crow, right? It doesn't get more revenge adjacent
Yeah.
than that, right? And it's again
I would
another.
love to see the crow. Like my wet dream would be to see the crow, but with the female protagonist as the crow.
Why has that never been conceived?
Because Hollywood.
Well, also, and I know John Shirley. I mean, he's contributed to several of my anthologies. Um, and I would not say we're friends now, but he did. He has, over and over again. He said, "I'm the shit." So, shout out to John Shirley. Anyway, he wrote The Crow with David J. Scow, who wrote Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. But my whole point is that in The Crow, which is one of the greatest horror films ever made, the only problem with it is really the female protagonist, or so you got a 14-year-old girl and on a skateboard who's kind of like a sympathetic figure, and the mother is demonized. She's a
Yeah.
junkie, right? She's a junkie. It's sort of like, and black people are stereotyped. You got the good black cop, excuse me, right? So I love this. I maybe I'll write it. I'll call it something else, like The Crow as a woman. So how would you like your Crow movie?
I feel like I'm living it. I just haven't died yet.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
with any luck, I'll get to come back from the dead and live that fantasy. But I
okay.
did before we get it. But before, like, let's yeah, that's a whole other tangent. But I did
Right, yeah.
have a. I wanted to show you that I contributed. I was a contributing author to this book called More Than Love, um, The Enduring Fascination of Edgar Allan Poe.
I didn't
So
even
this.
know you wrote. I mean, that's so militia. I mean, this is a natural. I'm a publisher. I'm an editor. I have Nocturnicorn books. I would love to have you on board. I mean, it just feels like, something cosmic. I
Yeah.
would love to have you as a contributor. I don't know, to like, a collective paw too, for example. Okay. Oh my God, I can't believe this. This is so magical. Yes, it's so magical, man.
I'm in the just as a sidebar, I'm in the Edgar Allan Poe Society of Baltimore, and I'm also on the institutional advisory board for Edgar Allan Poe
Okay,
Baltimore.
okay. You will not believe this. You will not believe this. Okay. But one of my contributors and friends and oh my God, like she is her name is Rissa Miller, and she was a curator. I don't like a docent or something. I always get this wrong. Sorry. Shout out to Rissa Miller. She's in like five of my anthologies, but she worked for I believe, the Baltimore Sun, and she worked for the Edgar Allan Poe, museum.
Which one?
Well, I don't. I'm gonna have to, I have to like talk to Rissa as soon as we get off the Zoom thing. Be like, Rissa, do you know, like, are you aware of Militia Vox? She does all the things, right? She's a singer, she's an actress, you know, so is Nicole. I mean, the only thing she doesn't do is, unlike her dad, Nikki Six is. I'm not supposed to talk about that, but she's
Hmm.
identical looking. Um, that the only thing she doesn't do is uh music, but she's written me poems, she's written me original stuff. We've worked together on the screenplay. And she's the one who introduced me to Rissa.
Uh-huh,
It's a
okay.
really lovely person. And
I
so
have a sidebar about that actually.
you
That you
have
might aside.
what's that? I'll say, okay, so yeah, talk to me. So,
Okay.
okay.
So they called me in to play the role of heroine in Nikki Sixx's story about his life, like the musical version of the story about his life.
Yeah.
And
To be heroin, like the embodiment of
the embodiment
literal fucking heroin.
and the shows hasn't is not happening or at least it hasn't happened yet. But they kept calling me back and they were like, you're really just like you're doing all great things, but we really, they didn't like my look. They didn't feel like I looked heroin chic enough to fulfill that role. And I was like, so what are you saying that you never imagined the role of heroin was going to be played by a black woman? Is that what you're saying? Like I'm curvaceous, I'm not skinny. Like you thought, like you want, like they wanted like a Kate Moss looking person to play the role, and they weren't finding that. But then they were saying, well, vocally, we want you. And I was like, I definitely won't be singing this track off stage while there's a Kate Moss looking person playing the role. Like, I won't be doing that.
It,
Um,
that's fantastic that it wasn't like, hey, would you like to sing with Motley Crue, but more like, would you like to be heroin?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, of course I want to be heroin.
Of course, you want to be heroin, like you want to, yeah,
Right.
of course.
But yeah, it never came to fruition. Then I think it just kind of stopped dead in its tracks for some reason.
That is just,
I think the pandemic stopped it. I think this was 2020 when this was all going on.
I mean, it could work, but like, okay, I gotta admit, I grew up with, as a lot of us did, I grew up with Motley, I love Motley Crue so much. Not a fan so much. I am actually more sympathetic to Vince Neil just because of what he's gone through. Not a fan of Nikki Sixx, but because of how he treats people. But was like so his brilliant ideas were, involved, for example, he literally died, and his solution to this was to hole up, in his house, do a
Yes.
shit ton of heroin, and write a song called Kickstart My Heart,
Mhm. So
about
this
being revived from the dead.
is based off of that time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah.
It's called the Heroin Diaries.
Yes, I'm aware of that, and I was really like for years. I'm actually a Nikki Sixx and Crew fan. You gotta, it's just like they took punk rock and they turned it into some like metal adjacent whatever. They created their own genre, but they hurt a lot of people too. I just want to say that, and I don't think it's
I do
controversial to
too.
say that.
Most people don't even make this connection, but I definitely did. Are you a fan of the band Killing Joke?
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course, yeah.
You know the song Love Like Blood?
Yes.
Dr. Feelgood,
Yet it is. It is.
for sure.
It is. I mean,
Always
there's a
amazed that when people are like, oh, goth industrial and rock and metal are two different things. It's like, no, they're so intertwined. It's like listen to all the references. I mean,
um
Come As You Are by Nirvana is 80s.
okay. So I have this weird, like Carrie Crum said, Alex, you think like a musician, because I have this uncanny ability to, I'll hear a song and I'll say, well, identify within 8 bars. I think that is Atmosphere by Joy Division. So David Bowie's Cat People, Joy Division just stole, I mean, appropriated artistically the first 8 bars, right? And so I've been doing this a lot lately. Like there's a Metallica does, a Bowie riff. Um,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
that's obvious, but yeah, there's also a song by Roz Williams and Christian Death, his version after he and Valor had, adjacent Christian deaths, which is weird. But I literally had Valor on the show just recently, but it's a song called Skeleton Kiss, right? And I was listening to it. I'm friends with Pleasant Gaiman, from Ringling Sisters and just goddess, rock star, whatever, belly dancer. Shout out to Pleasant, right? And she was talking about this song that she did with the Go-Go's, where she was actually the cover model for this. There was a whole series of, like the Ventures um, did an album that was a kind of a cover of songs that were inspired by the Ventures or something like that. One of the I don't forget the exact sequence. One of them was called "Surfin' and Spying" by the Go-Go's, because Belinda and Joan Jett and a bunch of other Jane Weedland, right, were lived with Iris Berry and Pleasant Gaiman in Disgraceland. So I was listening to the song. It's like Surfing and Spying by the Go-Go's, right? And you could listen to, I'm sure you know it, like doon doo 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 doon doo 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 doon doo 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 doon doo 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 doon doo 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 bum bum bum, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's Skeleton Kiss by Christian Death, right? 5 more minutes and we'll all be dead. Doon doo doo, right? And there's tons of songs like that. And I was like, also I've interviewed actually two times dying of cancer. And I was thinking, okay, you know, evil, right? So we're evil, right? That's surf rock, so it's I don't know why I'm like babbling because you get it because it's
We
not
opened the
genres.
floodgate.
We've opened the floodgate, right?
We opened
It's
the
not.
floodgate.
It's like talking about every song is every other song. And it was like recently I was thinking about, you know, Live Wire, which is a killer track. But then I was thinking, wait a minute, it's Ace of Spades in reverse. Right.
Uh,
That's like ding 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 ding. Well, you could do it better. I mean, you've sung Ace of Spades.
I don't think I could do it better than you just did.
Well, okay, so oh my God, thank you. Um, but yeah, so it's like and that also talking about musical DNA. People, I'm sure most people, that's a kind of that's kind of like AI language, but AI tells. But most people don't know that Lemmy was a friend of the Beatles,
Mhm.
right? And that they started it as the Quarrymen playing skiffle, which is busking right out in the streets of Liverpool for a buck or whatever, a quid. And that breakdown in Ace of Spades is really a skiffle
Mhm.
breakdown, right? And Phil Campbell, he would come skipping out. I remember like 2011 with the Nokia Theater in LA, and we were backstage, like looking down on the theater, and he on the stage, and he comes skipping out, right? He did his little kind of like, and it was like, man, it was so much fun, just you know getting to spend time with them. It was really cool, right? And
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about. Very few people do. So this like provenance, people think, oh, metal, right? And then Lemmy, and then Megadeth, and Metallica, and then all these bands. Well, no, it's the Beatles, but the Beatles were into Little Richards and Bob Dylan and stuff,
Great.
and those guys were into old blues and folk and bluegrass and all kinds of stuff, right? You have a talent and a kind of I don't well, you are have many genres because you recognize it's not one monolithic genre. You're and there's no monolithic queer people or black people or black women or gay men or gay white men or whatever. There's no monolithic anything. It's just like we are the enemy of this of the totalistic monolithic you know capitalistic you know, industry that tries to convert us into discrete things that we can sell you. We can, like that Marilyn Manson line about we're so, you know, we're so, sell you suicide, right? Like, this seems like it's literally going to happen one of these days. We're going to have euthanasia clinics because
Mhm.
it's easier and more cost efficient to just, get rid of people who are not going to be, producing for capitalism. That was a
Right.
really a crazy ass rant.
I was with you the whole way. I
Okay,
was on.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
wow.
like I have a song about exactly that. It's called Desires of This World.
Hmm.
And the second verse, I say, consume your doom. There's a barcode on your tomb. You'd better destroy.
Oh my God, that's fucking dark, man.
Yeah.
This is okay. I gotta read you this as long as we're gonna go dark. Okay, so I got a good friend, collaborator, really decent person. Shout out to Trisha Warden. You know, I mean, amazing. This is her book that was published by Henry Rollins. It's called Attack God Inside. And this is This is one of her poems. It's called Journal Entry by Trisha Warden. Trisha Warden.
Uh-huh. Okay, so I need to read this.
Page equals job. Nice animal. Love equals lies. So open your thighs. Man with the shakes wants 50 cents. He's a rabid rat stuck inside a drunken man. Eyes like unsteady hands. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a sub-Uzi machine gun? My friends are all rapists. You know that I need one. Got me strapped to my forehead or I'll wind up dead. Oh Lord, when you're gonna get off your ass. That's 21361. Henry
I love it.
Rollins, she's performed with everybody.
What's your name again?
Trisha Warden, yeah, she's performed with Hubert Selby Jr., Blixa from Eistersende Neubauten, fucking Michael Jara, everybody. So, and you and she should be mates because you're the same person.
Cool. Love
Yeah.
that. Thank you for sharing
Absolutely. So I'm gonna wrap it up because I gotta quit while I'm ahead,
that.
sitting in a jar. And there's so many synchronicities, Militia. I mean, like the fact that you're an author as well, and you're into Poe. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
that's that's insane.
Well,
That's,
like Poe in Baltimore is like he's another one. He's like a patron saint down there. So
I
that's
mean,
what
how random ass is that, right? It's totally random. Like,
like because I grew up surrounded by Edgar Allan Poe.
yeah. Oh yeah, like it's no big deal, right? This
Right.
look what's even happening? This is crazy cosmic, energy here, right?
Yeah.
Terry B. Murphy, Rob Halford, and Alabama Thunder Pussy. And these are the other bands that are on the cover of this, issue. Manowar, Rush, I mean, talk about like Prague, right? And that's a city as well. So yeah, so like I love you so much and I would really like to work with you. So any information about how people can get in touch with you, how they can, your socials, your forthcoming projects you can talk about.
Um, People can get in touch with me on socials. Uh, all of my socials are at Militia is my name. And it's like it's exactly like it sounds, MILITIA.
Hmm.
So it's not a variation on Melissa or anything kind of weird like that. It's Militia. Okay, so Militia is my name. At Militia is my name. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, send me love letters, send me hate mail, send
yeah,
me
right.
whatever you feel. Like it's cool to connect. Um, and currently working on I'm doing a collab with a band called 24/7 Spies. Are you familiar?
I've heard the name. Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm dear friends with Jimmy Hazel. He's like one of my like again, it's another situation where it's like unfair to say mentor. He's because we're closer than that. So it's like we're musical soulmates, not unlike like me and Corey.
right.
Uh, and we just have a great working relationship. And we wrote
Yeah,
some music together, some songs, and it's on this new 24/7 Spies album that should be out next year,
nice,
as well as a documentary about their life and career. So I'm also in the documentary, which features like, I mean, that and the album. There's members of Fishbone on
nice.
the album. There's members of Fishbone in the doc. Doug Pinnick from King's X. Um, there's a bunch of like cameos that occur. I'm also working on a solo album. This is my second solo
Oh,
album.
wow.
I would never do another solo album, but alas, here we are. Uh, so I'm doing another solo album. Um, it's called For Those Without Shadows, and it's essentially a post-apocalyptic album,
I was about to
which
say it's like it's for vampires or yeah, right? Was it
yeah,
vampires? What's the they don't you can't see them in the mirror. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
this is more about living in a society that's basically imploded on itself and everything is overexposed. So because of that exposure, no one is able to have privacy or exist with shadows or live in an environment of shadows because everything is in the sun. You're like constantly exposed to and open, and your time and your privacy is not your own. Your life is not your own.
That's
Everything's on
fascinating.
consumption. Um, and then how you navigate the new world that is like that, which is then paralleled with living in a post-apocalyptic society where uh, the social systems have fallen apart and proven that their infrastructure doesn't work anymore.
I would
And
listen to
then
the shit out of that.
it's nice to survive it. So it's a very heavy album. There's some musical risks going on, of course, and the first three singles are finished, and I'm so proud of it. It's definitely a pivotal work and like a career defining work. And I can't wait to share it with everybody because it's been like a long time
Chills.
coming. It's like it's just such a fucking atom bomb. Uh, Hopefully for women in metal, but also just for anyone who's just really unsatisfied right now.
There's a lot of us. Uh yeah, so oh my gosh, so for the collective paw, I had the elder goths do this, all five of them. Oh my God. So you're so great. You're so like beyond, I mean, I thought you were like fucking badass. But even my conception of you was, like based on, you know, hell bent for leather and all that stuff. And it's just so beautiful that you are unabashedly original. You do what you want to do and you take no shit. I really appreciate that. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Likewise.
Squeezins. Okay. Love you lots. And I'll be in touch with you and I'll connect you with Trisha.
Awesome. Great.
Okay.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you so much. Take
I love
care.
it. Mwah.
Bye-bye. Bye.